Welcome to Rob and Tony's Cinematic Adventure. I'm Rob Wilson.
And I am Tony the Quano.
So, Tony, let's talk about one of the biggest movies of 2025.
I think we can do that.
Yes, a movie that we considered doing earlier, but
We did.
We did Sinners instead at that time, which was another one of the biggest movies of 2025.
Another one, yes.
So,
both original properties,
yes,
also.
Both
by the
are
way.
Original properties. So, what movie are we doing? What are we talking about today?
We were doing Zach Cregger's Weapons.
Weapons. Yeah, this movie was it was an original property. You don't get those very often nowadays.
No, we don't. And
everything's part of a franchise.
Yes, or it's
or a remake.
Just keep doing sequels or remakes. Like, oh, let's do a live action of this animated movie that everyone loves, and would just still rather watch the animated version, than the live action version.
Yeah, but this is not an animated movie, and it's not a live action version of an animated movie.
And it's completely original. And I guess it had quite the fight for distribution rights over the script.
Yeah, it did.
But
New Line ended up getting it, right?
Well, Warner Brothers is one out. New Line was one of the producers. Okay. It was like a production company, but it was Warner Brothers won the distribution rights.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes. New Line's appropriate for this movie. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, it was, I wouldn't really call it a surprise hit. I think it was on people's radar, but I think it probably did better than some people were expecting. Better than I might have expected, and it stayed well, and it became a cultural kind of moment in the latter part of the year.
Yeah,
thanks largely to one of the actresses or characters in the movie, Amy Madigan.
Yeah, we have done an Amy Madigan movie before.
Yes, in Field of Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other actors in this movie. Well, we talked last week. We've done quite a few Josh Brolin movies, and Josh Brolin is in this movie.
I think Josh Brolin might be getting up there, in one of the actors that we've done the most movies for.
Yes,
on this podcast.
That just kind of was another little happy accident.
Yeah,
but also Julia Garner of Ozark fame.
Mm-hmm. Also from a new Fantastic Four movie.
The new Fantastic Four movie. She was also in Wolfman in early 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Perks of Being a Wallflower. If we really want to go way back with her. Not way back. It's like 2012.
Yeah, way back. It sounds 13, 14 years.
As for two guys like us, like 2012 is like not that way back.
Yeah.
Alden,
Alden
Ehrenreich.
Yeah, Alden Ehrenreich.
Yes. Young Han Solo himself.
Mm-hmm. Benedict Wong.
I had no idea Benedict Wong was in this movie, and he showed up. It was like, oh, Benedict Wong is in this.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh Brolin gets a body check in it.
Yeah.
And Toby Huss is in this movie.
Yes.
And kind of very, kind of straight-laced role, right?
Yeah, I mean, Justin Long even has a small role in it.
Yes, Justin Long. He showed up. I was like, oh, Justin Long. What have you been up to, Justin Long?
He's been in 2 scenes of Weapons. That's what he's been doing.
And 2 scenes is generous because there's barely a cut from between the two.
Yeah.
And then we get a few young actors we get introduced to, like Carrie Christopher.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm
curious
job.
to know. He did. And he did very good. It takes a while. He's in an early part of the movie, but then it's not until he doesn't really show up again for an extended period of time.
Yeah, but then he's got a big chunk of it.
Yeah. And, I'm glad he said he did a great job because we'll hit there later, but it's really pivotal, what he does. A lot of it's not even necessarily lines.
No,
right?
But it's just acting.
It's acting. And for a young actor, for some of the stuff they kind of called for him to do, it's impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
So, it's not a huge showy role that sometimes you see when young actors or actresses get a lot of kudos for their roles. But yeah, he does it really well.
Mm-hmm.
Especially opposite Amy Madigan.
Yeah.
Who is fantastic.
Yeah, she was fantastic also. Yeah, she was great as Gladys.
She she creates a new iconic movie character.
Yeah.
And obviously part of that, uh, and kudos too to like the makeup and hairstyling team that just
Yeah.
the costume designers.
Yeah.
That just like I want to know what direction Eggers like gave them like when crafting the look of this character at
Yeah.
different points.
Yeah.
Like, and I think there's a lot to talk about that. I think that's we can get that actually into the movie about what that look is and what does it mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, um, again, thumbs up on in terms of the craft on that side too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they deserve a lot of credit.
Yeah.
And they actually, it's interesting thing just thinking about it because like they have multiple characters they kind of juggle, and they do a really good job of giving them all the distinctive like look that feels right
Yeah, they
for
do.
that character.
They do.
A lot of the other characters, it's like that. It's that subtle, like obviously the Amy Madigan character is not a subtle costuming work, right? It's big, showy costumes
Yeah.
and makeup,
Yeah.
right? The other characters is not, but it's like still sometimes hard to pull off and make it feel authentic.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it. They do it.
Yeah, they do. They do. Now, I think this is going to be a first for this podcast. By the way,
Okay.
So you have been ever since you first saw this movie, you've been raving about it to me.
Yes. Yep.
So you clearly are a huge fan of it.
Yes.
And we've done movies where we are both huge fans of the movie.
Yeah.
We've done movies where we're both kind of, let's give it another shot, see if it's any better. We've done some where, one of us has liked it, both of us liked it, one of us liked it a little bit more. But I think this is the first time when one of us has absolutely loved a movie and the other, Tony, I got to be honest with you, I did not like this movie. I did not like it at all.
Okay.
Now, that's not
Fair.
to say that there were not things that I appreciated about it. Like we said, the performances were fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just not really my kind of movie. But
okay.
Yeah, like we said, Amy Madigan was fantastic in her role. Josh Brolin was being Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin.
Julia Garner was great as the teacher. Carrie Christopher was phenomenal. As he's a child actor who had to put up with this stuff that was going on in this movie.
Yeah, right.
He did a fantastic job. But yeah, overall, I was not a fan of this movie.
All right, that's fair.
But I wanted to like it. I really did. Everybody was raving about it. It was getting great reviews. It was, all this. But yeah, I watched it the other day and just, I really, I started it and I really wanted to like it, but I just couldn't get into it.
That happens.
And yeah,
And okay.
And we can go over my reasoning for a lot of that as we go on. But I think right now, if I were to reveal too much about it, it would be spoilers. And we're not to that part of the show yet.
And yes, and because it is a very recent movie.
Mm-hmm. We definitely don't want to spoil anything.
Recent movies, we specifically try to avoid spoilers in our intro.
Yeah.
Even vague spoilers.
Yeah. So
we try to be as tight-lipped about it as possible.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it just creates a first for the podcast. I'm sure it won't be the last time that one of us has loved a movie, the other hasn't.
Especially as we get, when we do more recent movies, and we'll probably do, usually at the when we hit like Oscar season.
Yeah.
Right after the Oscar, we've done one of the recent Oscar winners, and So it's possible because we'll be going into those kind of blind. So
Yeah. And it also means that we could get a pretty damn good discussion out of this.
we could.
Because differing viewpoints kind of helps feed conversation.
Yeah. No, it's always good, because I have watched it twice now. And I was wondering how I would like it in my second viewing, and there's a lot of things I picked up in the second viewing that made me enjoy it more. So there's always, things that happen. So, but and again, I think it's good still to review something from a bigger hit from the previous year. I think,
exactly.
We try to uh inject in, we were big fans of movies of the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, but that doesn't mean that there's not newer stuff
No. There's some newer
we
stuff
can't enjoy, or that we should,
fantastic.
I think we should try to always give a range of options.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we can't always do, movies that we grew up watching. I mean, we could, but that would be a different podcast than we're doing now.
Yes, we should be relevant.
Yeah,
we should,
exactly.
It's an adventure.
Exactly. We should be doing movies we love. We should be doing movies we hate, and we should be doing movies that are everything in between.
Yes. That almost sounds like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It does.
Which is a movie we've done.
That we've done.
Which is a movie I don't know if I'm going to watch again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I've seen that one a couple of times now. But yeah, it's one of those ones that, you watch it once and it's a very enjoyable watch, but you don't necessarily have to see it again.
Yeah. But here's what this year's Oscar season is going to bring. We've done the last several Oscar-winning movies.
Mm-hmm.
And Sinners, still has a chance to win it.
Yep.
So,
yep, it does.
If it does, then we'll figure out what we're going to do, because next month we'll do our Oscar series again, which is always a great chance to go all around different decades and genres, like we did last year.
Yeah, and since you bring up Sinners, that's one of the. So we were talking before that this and Sinners were like two of the biggest movies of 2025.
Yes,
two of the best reviewed. Everybody was raving about these movies, and we did Sinners back in October on the podcast, and that's one of those ones, like we talked about a little bit during that episode, but like that, I'm not a fan of weapons, but I do really enjoy the performances. Yeah. I thought they were fantastic. And it's kind of like Sinners, where I've never really been a big Michael B. Jordan fan. Like I didn't,
right.
I'm one of the few people that I've experienced that I've come across that I was not a fan of Michael B. Jordan in that movie in Sinners, yes, but in Black Panther.
Black Panther?
I was not a fan of Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther. I thought that somebody else could have played that. I mean, Killmonger's a great character, right?
Right, yes.
And I think somebody else could have brought a lot more to that role. I think, in my opinion, I think Michael B. Jordan played a little bit too thuggish than it should have been.
Okay. Yeah.
I think somebody else could have done a much better job in that role. However, I thought he was great in Sinners.
Mm-hmm. He was very good in Sinners.
I thought he did a very good job playing two different characters.
Mm-hmm.
And that showed his acting ability a lot more than Black Panther did, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Black Panther's fine. It's a movie that it's enjoyable enough. I think that's another one that I would say is probably a little overrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that.
Not that's
I like the movie. I enjoy it.
It's
Chadwick
a good.
Boseman was fantastic as Black Panther.
Good addition to the MCU.
But yeah,
right. But I wouldn't say it's head and shoulders above the rest, like some would put it.
Yeah.
So we haven't got an MCU movie in a while.
No, we haven't.
That's kind of purposeful too, and it gets
Yes.
tricky. So,
Yeah, it gets tricky
I mean,
doing, MCU movies without spoiling others and, all that, just because of how connected everything is.
Iron Man was such an easy one to do because
Yeah.
it was the first.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I agree. I think Jory was great in Sinners, and uh, Jory Linda was probably still my favorite. Well,
Yeah, Delroy Lindo was fantastic
yeah,
in Sinners. Yeah, I loved his character.
but yeah, it's yeah, 2025 was kind of an interesting year for like film. Um, 2023, you kind of had like Oppenheimer and like Barbie, kind of like the big hits of that year,
Yeah.
and they're both big. It's funny, both of those were like true summer blockbusters, and Weapons kind of came in at the towards the end of the summer, and Sinners was like back in March or April,
Yeah.
like even before
Yeah,
the
that was
summer.
spring. I mean, it was still in theaters, I think, early summer. But yeah, it
Yeah.
was a mid to late spring movie.
Um, yeah, but movies that still show, regardless of kind of where opinions might land on them. Like I haven't seen Barbie yet.
I have seen Barbie.
Um, okay. I know there's various opinions on that and
Yeah.
Oppenheimer and the ones we're talking about, but you could still have like movies that do really well at the box office. I mean, even currently, like Avatar's, the Avatar movie is doing pretty well, and like
So
Zootopia 2 was like,
the new Avatar movie, is it doing well because it's Avatar, or is it doing well because they're putting the Doomsday trailers in front of it?
I
How
don't
many
know.
people are
Well,
getting tickets just to see the Doomsday trailer?
well, it's hard to say for America, but like Avatar is like always gonna, at least the last two, this one and the second one, were just big international
Yeah.
draws. Also,
Yeah.
like it does so well, especially like in China. Um, and that's a whole other conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but yeah, and I think people can still hunger for something that's, um, again, original, right?
Yeah.
And and that's what weapons, it is. And I read other reviews that probably come. I have not been as keen on it. Like as you are. Um, but it's also really it's interesting. I thought uh has a particular late 70s, early 80s aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
to it, right? Even though it's a movie that clearly takes place in the modern day, but definitely kind of influenced by kind of that era.
Yep.
Um, Also, big nods to Magnolia, Paul Thomas Anderson, who also had definitely part of the 2025 film year, one battle after another,
Mm-hmm.
which I wouldn't be surprised if we end up covering that one
I wouldn't
based
either.
off how award season is going. So, Leo, we haven't done a Leo movie in a while.
No, we haven't. Not since Inception.
So, which big, but yeah, and I'm just I didn't even get to see this in theaters. I had to wait until the streaming to see it, and I kind of wish I might have seen it in theaters. And I heard that as another movie that had a particular fun theater aspect to
Yeah, I
it.
mean, I could see this
But
one as being one that would be better to see in the theater.
with like a group of people
Yeah.
reacting to some of the scenes, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if I have a whole lot else to say. Again, because like it's not a movie we grew up with, obviously, because it's new.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
even like the cast, like obviously Josh Brolin's been around for a long
Yeah,
time.
there are some people in here that have been around for quite a while, but then there are also a lot of newer faces.
And Amy Madigan, right? But then you have
Mm-hmm.
others, they've come onto the scene in the last decade or so. Um, like Julia Garner, Kwong, right? Um, and then some brand new people like Carrie Christopher. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see uh as time goes on, uh how people respond to the movie, if it kind of has a lasting legacy, just like Sinners. How long will legacy that what legacy will that have as well?
Yeah.
So um, you know, as we'll get to it, especially the Amy Madigan's character, has already kind of become like kind of a cult hit in itself in terms of
Yeah.
people wanting to dress as her and
Exactly.
like
Yeah. She. I was reading that she got really excited when she landed this role because now she's finally a Halloween costume.
and she would make a great Halloween costume. So, yeah, I don't know if a whole lot else to say before we dive into it.
All right, let's get into it then. As always, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about this entire movie, beginning, middle, and end. So if you have not seen it and you don't want to be spoiled, pause the podcast, watch the movie, and come back and listen. If you have seen it or you just don't mind being spoiled, then keep on listening. But yes, we will be spoiling this almost brand new movie. Just came out
almost brand new,
like months ago. So
yeah, it's not like the most, in terms of the newest movie we've done from episode release to release date. Like The Running Man we did recently was closer.
Yeah.
Gladiator.
Gladiator 2
was also twist. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we
still pretty
Superman, close. We do tend to do
Superman,
some movies, yes. At least a couple a year that are fresh, still in theaters when we do them.
Yep.
But this one, no, it's been out. It's been out on streaming for a couple of months now.
Yeah, it's been a few months out, kind of like when we did Sinners a few months ago. Months ago, it was several months out. So, but yeah, and you might even know, people might even know some of the spoilers without even having seen the movie. So I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I know I went into this one pretty much blind.
I did too.
I knew the basic premise of it just because I had seen trailers.
Yes. It was hard to escape the basic premise, which is good. They sell they know the premise.
Yeah. So,
and that's how the movie opens. You got the New Line logo. We've talked about the New Line logo multiple times. Right. And it gives us the premise, not through a voiceover.
Yeah.
Of a little girl.
Played by Scarlett Sher.
Voiced by Scarlett Sher. Yeah. And excuse me. I'm going to do that. I had I was going to read the entire thing here if I can bring it back up, but I don't know if I have it. Yeah. So what she tells us, this is a true story that happened in my town. So this one Wednesday was like a normal day for the whole school.
Happened a few years ago.
Different. Yep. And, they give us the image of, kids going into the school. And kind of what she tells us, like, there's a lot that you might have heard about this story, but there's that was in the news, but there's more of the story because the police and the people in the town were too embarrassed that they didn't solve it.
Yeah.
Right. And she said, but like this Wednesday, it was a day like any other day. Every class had all their kids, except for Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty, except for one kid. Right. And you know why? Because the night before at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs in the dark, and they never came back. Right. And now we get the image of, you see the poster, you've kind of seen the image of these kids with their arms out like an upside down V. Yeah. Right. And they're running.
Do you know where that pose came from, where that run came from? The inspiration for it? So the inspiration for that run, for that particular like position of the arms and all that, comes from the Napalm Girl. The famous photograph from the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
The little Vietnamese girl with all her clothes burned off who's running away from the napalm strike.
Yeah. That makes sense.
She's got her arms out like that. And yeah, that's...
Yeah, I see it. So the narrator continues that they know it's 217 because of some of the alarms went off in the houses, and that also tripping like the ring cameras and such. And yeah, you see just kids running across different yards and driveways, kind of out into the darkness. And you can tell like this looks like it's a small and mid-sized town,
Hmm.
maybe kind of like maybe an outer suburb somewhere,
Yeah.
right?
Now, it was filmed outside of Atlanta, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, the suburb of Atlanta.
Any other like third grade classroom. There's stuff about whales on the wall, about
Hmm.
parasites and the such. And they say, well, then they had to talk with
And
this
yeah,
kid.
and the parasites is very, very important for this movie.
It is very
Parasite
important for this
references,
movie.
but yeah,
And so the boy's name is Alex. The teacher's name, we said Mrs. Gandy, but her first name is Justine, played
mhm.
by Julia Garner, right? And they said that yeah, the cops, they talked to Alex and his parents, and he said he had no idea what happened with these kids. Like like was this some plan that they all decided to do? And he's like,
He's like,
well, if there's a
if there's a
plan,
plan, I
none
don't
of
know
his
about it.
classmates told him.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, is it something on TV? It's like, well, if there was a show or a movie, I've never seen it,
Hmm.
right? And then they have pictures outside the school, and that typical memorial wall type of thing. It's like after a month, but then they open the school back up because like all the other kids still had to learn, right?
Yep.
And then so like finally but right before they opened back up, they decided they needed to have like a town hall at the school
Yeah.
with counselors to help people figure out how to feel and
Yes.
express themselves. Right? And they get the
And
shot of
this
parents
is where
going to
we
the
get
school.
really the first dialogue of the movie. Is at this
Yes.
town hall meeting.
And because then, that's because what we're told, then that's kind of where the narrator she kind of shuts off. And we don't really hear her again. And basically, again,
Till
into
the
the
end.
end of the
Yeah.
movie.
Now, real quick though,
So we get our first, go ahead.
what's said at the very beginning of that narration is, at 2:17 a.m. is when all the kids got up
Yes.
and left their houses.
Right.
Now, 2:17, we've done a movie with that, or at least in the book version of that movie, the source material with 2:17.
Okay.
And we talked about The Shining.
Ah, yes.
2:17 is a very big Shining reference.
It is a very big Shining reference. So people have other thoughts about this 217, especially with a scene later, which I like to push back against. But yeah, 217 is definitely a Shining reference. And would make a lot of sense with some of the things happening within this movie. So that's a good call. So but yeah, so the narration ends, and now we get to where we start to talk about the first dialogue, as you're saying. And we get a title card first. And it says Justine.
Yeah.
Right. And so how the movie is going to be set up is like there is 6 different parts of this movie. That focuses on 6 different characters.
Yeah, and
It's not like
a lot of
a
stuff is sort
Rashomon
of
style or it's a lot of overlap between them.
because
And
these
the
characters
overlap
interact
like
with each other.
And sometimes when you have movies that deal with things this way, right? Uh things might kind of change between scenes because people's memories are different or such, right?
But yeah,
But because this
it's
is really
not.
kind of told from the third person, it doesn't know. Like it's
Yeah, it's not a
all
Rashomon
the
type of
same
thing
things
where.
happening, just
Yeah.
a slightly different vantage point for the most part.
Kind of like the movie Vantage
Right?
Point.
There we go. Yes. Excuse me. Which I doubt we would do,
Yeah.
but if we ever wanted to do a Matthew Fox movie,
Yeah.
Vantage Point would be the way to go. So, yeah, so they're at the school and this title is called is Justine, right? And the first time we see her, she's actually sitting out in the crowd, right? And there's the principal, a counselor, and some other, like, I'm guessing maybe people at the town up on stage here. And, you have people getting, parents, they're understandably upset,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I mean,
And one of
there's
them is that you don't
17
see who this
kids
person
that
is
just
yet. He's in the
walked out in
back
the
of the
middle of the
room.
night.
It's like, why is it just her room? Right? We demand answers from her type of thing,
Yeah.
right?
They're convinced
And so
that the
now she
teacher
gets a
had something to
chance
do with it.
to go to the podium. So she goes up to the podium, right? And she's just saying, like, I love all those kids, right? And it's like I want to know what happened to them just as much as you do, right? But most of these parents they're still blaming her, right? And they're shouting out, and then her principal, Marcus, right? Marcus Miller, played by Benedict Wong,
Mm-hmm.
right? Kind of comes to defense and just starts like, no, that rhetoric's not necessary. Like, no, it's not helpful, right? But they get so upset that they basically have to rush her out of the
Yeah.
school, right? And
And one of the most vocal is Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin, yes. And we'll find out more about his character in a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. We get a small glimpse of his character's like irritation.
Yeah.
At everything right now. So Marcus gets her to the car, right? Tells her, you should just go home, right? Probably should just kind of like, turn the lights off, like just don't interact with anybody, right? So, but instead, she ends up going to the local liquor store because she's kind of an alcoholic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's walking in, right? And there's this guy, this panhandler is outside of it, right? He's like trying to ask money for a bus to go see his brother.
Yeah.
Right. And he opens the door for her as she's going in, right? So she goes in and she goes to the back. She goes just getting a couple bottles of vodka. And you can tell, like, again, this is over a month after everything's happened. So like she's, she has been feeling the entire town's eyes on her for the last month, right? And so she's looking around, seeing he's there, right? And the place is quiet. And she then ends up, she leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Guy opens the door back up for her again.
Asks her for some change, and she doesn't have any.
Yep. And she looks, and to the adjacent parking lot, and there's this truck with its headlights on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And she sees it, and then she drives home. Right. So she's at her house. She's making her drink. She's got right. And then she gets a phone call, and no one's on at first. And then she, finally there's another voice on the other line. It's threatening her. She hangs up, and she starts looking out the window to see if anyone's there, right? And she feels like some people might be there. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't. Then she opens the door. No one's out there. And her car is parked across the street from her
somebody.
house.
And then also somebody knocks on the door.
Right.
Like they're just banging on the door.
Just start banging on the door. And then she goes back out again and there's no one there.
Mm-hmm. But she sees her car and it has witch painted across the side of it.
Written
in red paint.
It's like, this is great. Right. Excuse me. So she, we cut the next day and she's back at the school and she's talking with Markinson's office, right? And because now, school's back in session right now. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she doesn't have a class to teach.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and because of all the tension, it's just best for her to be on a leave of absence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's
what
Marcus is telling
you're still going to get all your benefits. You're going to get paid. Like, everything's still going to be taken care of. It's just that.
It's just probably not the best idea for you to be teaching a class right now.
There's a lot. Yes. right? And then, but she's still very, you know, again, we're kind of plopped into the, a month after this, and you can tell
Hmm.
that she's still interested in what's going on with Alex,
Yeah.
and she wants to talk with Alex. And Marcus thinks, well, it's probably not the best idea,
Hmm.
but he's in, the other class. He's doing fine. Best thing to do for right now, the best thing for you to do right now for him is just leave him be, allow him to try to readjust as normally as possible. Right? Because that would be kind of weird for a kid, right? Your entire class disappears and but you, right?
Hmm.
You know, uh how do you react to that, right? So um and then we find out that she overstepped some boundaries with some kids earlier,
Yeah.
at another job.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
I mean,
And like,
she hugged a kid.
yep, because the girl was upset, is how
Yeah,
she puts it.
and so she was comforting her.
Right. And
She
then
didn't overstep boundaries like
Marcus brings up that
inappropriate touching
she
or
also
anything like
gave
that. She
a ride
just,
home to somebody.
yeah, she was
Right.
just comforting a child, and then gave one a ride home because they needed a ride home.
Yes. It's like, I know, and Marcus, like, I know you care about the kids. I know you don't mean, harm. I know you have nothing to do with this, but you have to understand
Yeah,
everyone else's
yeah,
perspective
you got to
also.
see it from their eyes. You got to see how it looks.
And he's doing a good job of trying to thread the needles. Like, okay, like, I understand you're upset. I don't know. I can't imagine what it's like to have your child just disappear with no trace or explanation, along with all these other kids. And, yeah, I can understand that you want answers, and there's no good answers that you have.
Hmm.
Right. So, Marcus is a good advocate, I think, across both sides. So, but
Yeah,
so,
which I mean, he has to be able to thread that needle. He's got to be able to walk
yes.
that tightrope because I mean he's the principal of the school. All the parents look to him, to protect their kids.
Right.
And he has to, he's got to maintain that trust from the teachers.
Yes. Well, that's the other part of it. So, and then the town's going to look to him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's should be a leader within that town because he's the principal of the school, right? Um, so, after she leaves the school again, she ends up she files a police report about the vandalism on her car.
Yeah. So she's meeting with an officer.
Yep.
And,
And he's just like, oh yeah, this is probably just kids. They know what happened. They're just trying to have fun with you. Like, when I was when I was in high school,
yeah, I
well,
got into
I
some
never
stuff.
vandalized a car.
But yeah, never anything quite like this, but I did get into trouble. But yeah, so while the officer's talking to her about his life story, she looks across the lot and sees there's another officer walking, and he's got a mustache, played by Alden Ehrenreich.
He's just walking over to his patrol car,
and she looks over, she waves.
She kind of waves at him,
and so he sort of waves awkwardly back, and he keeps on going to his patrol car.
So, we cut later to the evening, and she is at a bar now. She's dressed nicely, right? She's outside, kind of casual dress, like she's expecting a date, right?
Yeah.
This kind of looks like a typical kind of town, local towny bar, nothing fancy about it.
Yeah,
right?
not quite like a dive bar, but you're just your local hangout spot.
Local watering hole.
Yeah.
And the bartender's there. His name is Tony, and right, and she already has her drink, and she's expecting the next person, someone to come, and that person is the cop that she saw,
yes, Paul
Morgan.
Yeah, Alden Ehrenreich, mustache and all.
No Wookiee though.
No Wookiee, but I mean, it does kind of look like he shaved part of the Wookiee and put it on his face.
There's no Billy D either.
No Billy D. Or Donald Glover.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's they share a quick hug. He's kind of happy to see her, and they have a history, right?
Yeah.
And she keeps begging him to have a drink, and
And he's like,
it
no,
takes a while
you know
for
I
the
shouldn't be
bartender to
drinking.
get there.
And she's like, come on, just have
Yeah,
one.
I should be doing it. It's like just one, and she keeps calling for the bartender. Right, the bartender finally comes over. He's like, "Oh, I'll have a Coke."
Now, one of the underlying themes of this movie is, I mean, if you really look into it, is alcoholism.
Yes.
Because, you got scenes like this, but then also in when the name of the movie pops up, the O in the middle of it has a triangle, which the circle with the delta in the middle is the symbol for Alcoholics Anonymous.
It is.
So there's just little things here and there that sort of just that it has that running theme going throughout the movie.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of things that will be alcoholism, just trauma.
Yeah. Some are just blatant. Hey, look, here it is. Others are more subtle.
Yes. Yeah, the triangle, it's a good one. And like this, this is again the planet. Oh yeah, okay, he's recovering. Like they talk about they do talk about AA meetings later, right?
Yeah.
And then they get the blatant stuff. Like she's going to this shop and she lives by herself. And she's buying 2 gigantic bottles of vodka. So,
because sometimes you just need 2 gigantic bottles of vodka.
That's right.
Sometimes you want to play Edward 40 Hands with vodka. I don't recommend playing Edward 40 Hands with vodka, folks. I do not recommend it. That is way too much alcohol for one sitting.
That's how you get alcohol poisoning.
Yes.
Hey, you and I only did 1 handle of Jack Daniels.
And we shared that over the course of a long time.
An entire day.
Yeah.
Not mere hours. Now, if you're Legolas, then hey, have at it. You got the magical underwear, right? So you could break the seal without worrying about anything.
Yep. You just use that magical elvish underwear like a diaper.
Meanwhile, your dwarf friend, he's passed out.
And he doesn't have magical elf underwear.
No, he doesn't. What type of underwear do dwarves wear, I wonder?
It's probably pretty scratchy.
I would think
probably
so.
Some rough wool type of material.
Yeah. Back to the bar.
Maybe they, if they ever shave their beards, maybe they fashion that into their underwear.
Yeah. Oh.
Because dwarves have long beards, but I mean, you never really see them with crazy long, dragging on the ground beards.
No.
So maybe when they get to a certain length, they cut it in half or something.
Yes. I like it.
Huh. And then they fashion that into undergarments. And yeah.
And so, anyway, so they're at the bar and she's, he's like, she's like, oh yeah, I was happy to see you when I was following the police report, but it just gets into the conversation about how she just feels like everyone in the town hates her. They're all looking at her. Right? It's like, no, not trust me. I have my ear around this town. Not everybody hates you. Not everybody thinks that you're responsible for this. Right? And then, then he's just kind of gets blunt. Is like, don't get into one of your, not Julia, get into one of your pity parties, right?
You're just
And
teen
it's like,
pity
oh,
parties.
and the just teen pity parties, right? And then she kind of takes offense to that, right? So you can tell, like, this is the thing, and like she tries to change the subject a bit. It's like, oh, well, you know, brings up his wife, right? Like, um, Donna. It's like, oh, and it's interesting though how he says like, oh, well, we're not really going right now, right? And when you find out later, that's not
Hmm.
exactly true.
Yeah.
He's like, but what I know is that this, he points to her drink, this never helps you, right? When she does her thing, she bites her lip and gets closer to him and shoots her pheromones out at him. And, it's just like, oh, yeah, yeah, I guess I was happy to see you. You are looking kind of cute and all this. And it's like, and she keeps saying, come on, one drink, one drink. He's like, and he starts laughing about it. He's like, no, right? And he should have listened. He should have listened about
He
this,
should
right?
have listened.
Because, one of the things we forgot to mention in the opening narration is how the narrator tells us that a lot of people die in really weird ways. So anyway, so
Yes, yes,
back
that
to the scene.
is.
Like,
Well, it doesn't say a lot of people. Just some. He says some people die
they
in
say
very
some
weird
people
ways.
die in really weird ways. Yes. So the bar. Scenes cut from the bar. Cuts the bar. It goes back to Justine's house, right? And she's playing music on her phone, and she wakes up Paul. Paul wakes up and he realizes that he's in her bed, that he had a drink and they've had sex. And he sighs about it. It's like, oh, right. And so apparently, I guess they drove her car home. Like he drove her car back. And
Hmm.
then now she's driving him
Yeah.
back to the bar to pick up his car. Right. And they're, they can continue the conversation about this, right? About the whole disappearance. And she's trying to fish for like information. It's listen, I'm not a detective. I just know they have people working on it. Just let the professionals do their work on this, right? Like no one is slipping on this. No one is, everyone, the people, everyone's giving it the full attention that they can. So she drops them off, and now she goes to drive back to school, and she is peeping on Alex, right?
Yeah. So she. Yeah.
She sees him walking alone home, so she follows him to his house.
Hmm. And he goes inside, shuts the door behind him, and so she decides she's going to get a closer look.
Yep, because then and what we've noticed in here is that and again, there's tiny details like there's multiple newspapers in the driveway,
Hmm.
right? And so, and there's newspapers all over the windows, so you can't really see inside the house either.
Yeah. So first she knocks on
No
the
one
door, and when
answers.
nobody answers, she
Yes.
goes around back.
So she hits she goes around back. Yes.
And that's where
Great
sees,
idea, by the way. Great idea.
Oh yeah, you're
Not-
you're under suspicion by the public for kidnapping all of these kids.
17 third graders, and the one that in your
And
class
the
that did not
one
get kidnapped.
that now you're snooping around the
peeking
house.
into his house.
Yeah, great idea.
Right? So she's looking through, and then she finds a crack between the papers. And then she sees just these two people
Yeah, she
sitting
looks in and just sees these two
really
people.
still.
Yeah, sitting on the couch, just staring at the window she's looking
just
through.
staring. Yes. And there's no indication if they've seen her, anything like that, right?
Yeah, they're just sitting there really still.
She's obviously startled, right? And she falls back and she makes some noise as this happens. And so then the next thing we have her, she's back in her car and she's talking to Marcus on the phone. And Marcus is like, I specifically told you to stay away from Alex.
Yes.
Right? It's like, I'm going to give you the courtesy of pretending that this phone call
Never happened.
So I guess apparently because, she already finished those 2 bottles of vodka, she goes back to the
Goes
same
back
liquor
to the
store.
same liquor store. And she goes in,
But,
and while she's doing her shopping, this woman comes up behind her.
June Diane Raphael.
Yes, June Diane Raphael.
Is she really the Sally Jesse Raphael?
No, because her name is actually pronounced Raphael. June Diane Raphael.
You're right about that.
Yeah. It's not Raphael. It's spelled Raphael, but it's pronounced Raphael. She's one of the hosts of the How Did This Get Made podcast, which we have talked about a few times on the show.
Yes, we have. Very good. Anyway.
And the wife of Paul Scheer.
And then she just starts, like, you fucked him, didn't you? Right? You made them drink, and then you fucked them.
Yeah, so she throws,
and then the clerk comes up
Justine down on the ground, and she just grabs a bottle of vodka and just dumps this vodka all over her.
So this is Paul's wife, Donna.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so, obviously, she found out about what happened. So, now we cut into Justine. Like, she's, it's at night, she's in bed, and she has this nightmare where she walks into her classroom, middle of the night, and all the kids are sitting at the desk and their heads are down, except for Alex. Are they playing Heads Up 7 Up?
Yep. I don't know. I mean, I used to love that game. I used to cheat on Heads Up 7 Up.
Yeah, well, apparently Alex is cheating. If you're listening, kids, don't cheat at Heads Up 7 Up.
Don't cheat at Heads Up 7 Up. It's not worth it.
Anyway, but then she gets closer to him, and then he smiles, and then he has this really creepy clown makeup smile on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And then she wakes up and realizes that Inception style, she's in a dream within a dream.
Yeah. And she looks up to the ceiling and sees this really creepy clown-looking woman.
Yeah, with
on her ceiling.
Bright red hair on the ceiling. And
just screams
again.
Huge, just makeup, or just like lipstick smeared all around her lips.
Yep.
And it's a jump scare, and this movie has a few jump scares, and one of my issues with this movie is the jump scares.
You see, I think these jump scares are earned, though, because I think they're actually integrated into what's actually happening.
Yes, they are. They are integrated into what's actually happening. My main problem with them is they're all the same jump scare.
Okay.
The people who see this woman, it's all this same, clown makeup looking woman who's showing up. Now it makes sense that it's her, with the way that the movie goes on, but with so many jump scares, you would think they would have a little bit more variety. Now I'm usually one that that's not really affected by jump scares when they show up.
Right.
A lot of people freak out when something pops up, but I'm like, just usually just, there is the final jump scare of the movie is slightly different, and that one did kind of get me to flinch just a little bit.
Okay,
but no, my main gripe with the as far as the jump scares goes is it's all the same jump scare.
All right.
I like a little bit of variety. I like a little bit of variety in my jump scares.
In terms of what's going on. But all right, yeah. I think it's fair. So we cut to the next day, and Justine she decides she hasn't put this to bed enough. Like, I'm going to go follow Alex home again to see if he's okay. Right?
Yeah.
And she confronts him kind of like outside of his house. And he's like, yes, I'm fine. And he yells at her, like, just to stop following him.
Yeah, stop following me.
Which, when you find out later, the full scope makes even more sense. right?
Yeah.
So then she just stays the day spying on this house, drinking her vodka, right? And she eventually she passes out, you know, and now it's nighttime. And then you get this mysterious woman that starts kind of walking out kind of awkwardly and out of the house. And she's got this gigantic pair of shears, right?
Yeah.
Not quite like the shears that that we see in the Big Lebowski.
No, but they're
right?
like just a big pair of scissors. But yeah, and the woman that comes out of the house is she's kind of running funny.
Yeah, kind of funny looking.
Mm-hmm.
And then she stops at the driver's side window, stares in, and then just moves to
the back
stays
door.
on the driver's side, but in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And
it opens up the back door, climbs into the back seat, and then you don't see her in the back seat. You she's there because you see the car kind of rock a little bit, the scissors, and then you see the scissors come up.
Yeah, you see the car rocks and the scissors come up,
and you just see the scissors come and cut off a lock of Justine's hair. And she doesn't wake up; she's still sleeping.
Yep.
And then the woman gets out of the car and runs back to the house.
And we get the next title card, and this is Archer.
Yes, Archer,
played by Josh Brolin. Archer Graff. Right. By the way, this town this takes place in is called Maybrook.
Yes, Maybrook. It's a fictional town.
Yes, which is interesting. Like it's in Pennsylvania, but it was filmed in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So because you see Pennsylvania style tags in this movie. Maybrook almost sounds like Mayberry, doesn't it?
It does a little bit.
I wonder if that was even intentional.
Maybe. I don't
know. Andy Griffith walking around with Aunt B.
Uh-huh. Then, you get Barney Fife. And Alden Ehrenreich's kind of like Barney Fife.
Yeah, I see that. Yes, wow.
Paul.
There's an old lady. Yeah. Huh. Well, anyway. So when we see him, he wakes up. It's nighttime. He's not waking up. He's sleeping. It's nighttime. And this dude, you go Archer. He sleeps with Batman bed sheets.
Well, we find out why pretty quick.
Yeah, it's not actually his bed sheets. He's in his son's bed.
Yes.
And his son is one of the missing
children. His son's one of the missing children, Matthew.
His son's name is Matthew. And he's got the Batman sheets. Yeah. He's got a bunch of baseball posters.
Mm-hmm.
We see a photo of Archer and son with his team. He coaches his son's team, right?
Yeah. Now, I mean,
his
it
wife
would be
comes into
great
the room and says, "I'm going to work."
Brolin did have Batman sheets on his bed.
Josh Brolin very well might have Batman sheets that he sleeps on.
Hey, more power to him.
But his wife comes in the room, says she's going to work. Have a good day, that type of thing. And you can tell, he's been sleeping in this bed for a month, right? And it's kind of the point. It's probably put real strain on the marriage, where she's like, they can't even connect anymore.
Yeah,
because he's so obsessed with finding out what's happened with their son, and really obsessed because, as we find out later, that he has guilt and shame over kind of things he has not said to him, right? So, and because all he does during his day here, at the beginning of this day, right? He's eating his bowl of cereals and coffee, and he doesn't read the news, doesn't scroll social media, anything like that. He just continuously rewatches his Ring camera video of Matthew just running out into the dark. Right?
Yeah.
And we discover that Archer has a home contracting business.
Yes.
Right? And so he goes to this house
he goes to
working
work
on, and his foreman is there, and he says "Oh yeah, we were hoping to get more up on this,
that glass,
the supplies never came in." It's "Oh yeah, oh man, that's my fault. I totally forgot to put that order in." It's "Oh yeah, well yeah, the thing is the owners they're supposed to come in through a walk-in soon, and we don't have everything up like we really want to. Plus, there's another problem. That door. It's what about the door?
It was supposed to be hunter green. It's red. And he's like, oh, the paint color's wrong. That's my fault too. I ordered the wrong paint color.
Right. So you can see, like,
well, actually, first he's
too,
like, oh, so they brought the wrong paint color. Then the guy's like, well, no, they said
they brought the right ones right here on the invoice.
Yeah, that's the one that was ordered. He's like, oh, that's my fault too. I ordered the wrong color. So yeah, so it's this red door instead of a green door.
So he's like, you know what? I'll take care of it. Just get back to work. That type of thing, right? And
so he takes those paint buckets, he drives in the back of his truck.
Yeah, he drives in the back of his truck, right?
And the pickup, has the name of his construction company on the side. Graph Construction.
So, next place we see him, he is at the police station, and he's talking to the captain, Ed Locke, played by Toby Huss, right? And the guy's saying, like, yeah, no, we have no new leads, no info, but we get every call we get. We'll continue to follow up on that.
And you get the idea right away. It's clear that he's been in here multiple times.
Yes,
talking to the chief,
and the chief is handling it really well, right? He is sympathizing with him, right? But he's not overstepping either way, right? And then it finally gets on to Justine. It's like, well, have you looked into her? It's like, yes, we have, right? It's like, well, do you know she had an improper relationship? It's like, yeah, with a staff member, right? It's like, she had DUI. He's like, yes. Right? It's like, and so it's like, oh, and what about this? What about this? Is like, it's like, oh, what about the canine units? I haven't heard anything about that. Well, no, you haven't heard anything
really
from the canine units
that we use them.
They don't, they don't really respond to you, right?
Yeah.
So, and remember, it was red paint, and you gotta remember when we saw a witch on Justine's car, it was in red paint.
Red paint. Yeah. So we see see him in his truck across from that liquor store. We see Justine go into the liquor store and come out.
So we're led to believe,
and he's sitting in his truck with the headlights on. And then we see a little bit later outside of Justine's house. We see her car parked across the street from her house, and his truck is parked along the curb. And then the camera zooms in to the bed of the truck where you see 2 red paint cans.
Yes.
And so it's revealed that he's the one that painted witch on the side of her car.
Exactly.
In case you didn't pick up on that, he's the one that did it. In case you didn't pick up on those obvious clues, he's the one that painted witch on her car with the same shade of red that those people's door is now.
So he goes home, and again, like, he back in his son's room. That's where he wants to sleep. I get it, right? And he has a dream, right?
His dream where he gets up and he walks
out.
He
chases his son Matthew through the woods.
Yeah, he sees his son running out the door, so he chases him through the woods and comes up on his own house.
Yep.
It's like
he's confused.
It's like it's like his house is on the other side of the woods, and so he's coming back at it from the other direction, where he's facing the front of the house, and he looks up, and floating above the house is a giant AR-15 with the numbers 217 on the side of it. Now, Zach Kreger has gone on to say that there was not really any justification for why he put an AR-15 in this scene.
Yes.
He just put it in there.
There are theories to this, and I tend to go with his theory that not his theory that it means nothing, because I tend to believe that 217 was just picked because of the Shining reference.
Yeah. 217, of course, was the room number in the book that was room 237 in the movie.
But some people, because get Reddit on their brain, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
As they go all out with certain theories about things. It's like, oh, this
The
has to
movie's
do with
called
this
Weapons.
legislation. And 217 people
Mm-hmm.
voted against this legislation. That this is, some political statement.
Yeah.
And like,
But
I
no,
don't
Zach Cregger's
really
come out
see
and said
that.
there's no reason why there's an AR-15 above this house.
Josh Brolin has
Just
really
put it
had
in there.
AR-15s on his mind. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's watching 3 days of the Condor, maybe we're going to Mac 10.
Maybe.
Then a Mac 10 just
Yep.
hanging above his
Yep.
house. And so, excuse me, 1 second. But yeah, I'm not into that any um, specific reason why that was chosen. The 217, I do believe, again, was
Yeah, the Shining
the
reference.
Shining reference. But so he goes back into the house, and kind of
Which
they do kind of
so the
typical
interesting thing
kind of
also with the
long
whole 217 real quick, a lot of theaters played this
Oh
movie at
yes, I'm
217.
glad.
They had
Yes, I like that
showtimes
little
of
touch.
217.
I read about
And
that,
yeah.
and it's a nice little touch. You see,
Yeah.
theaters can get creative with stuff
Yeah.
like that. Make the movie experience fun again.
Yeah. Bring back the midnight shows and just have fun references with just have fun with it with your showing times.
And it's unfortunately there's no time. You can't do a 69 time, but
I mean,
you can do
you can
109. I
you can do
guess,
like
or
109 or
if you got a stoner movie, do 420.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? That I mean, that's being teed up for you right there.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder, did Pineapple Express ever release at 420 on any theaters?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's very much a stoner movie. Or How High?
You think? Half baked,
Half Baked.
up in smoke, right? Anyway,
Harold and Kumar.
there are drugs in this movie, by the way.
Yes.
Not marijuana,
No.
but
No, something a little bit harder.
we'll get there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so he goes back in the house and you kind of get the one of those long corridor sequences, and
Mm-hmm.
he gets down. Finally gets to Matthew's room again,
And he sees
and
him laying in his bed.
and he gets down and he starts crying, and he tells him that he loves him.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's the thing that's been really gnawing at him, right? That he's never really told his son that he loves him,
Yeah.
right? You know, that's why he's so obsessed about this, and he needs to be able to say it, right? And this is when one of the other jump scares comes in, right?
Mhm.
He kind of then shines the kind of light on his son's face, and then it's that
Yeah, because he's got his cell phone out. He's got the
face
flashlight
from
on his cell phone. Yeah, and he shines the light
Yes.
on his son's face, and under the covers
Same
is no longer his
woman.
son. It is the same woman that we saw on Justine's ceiling, just staring at him.
Yes. So we cut into the next morning, and again, he's watching that Ring video again, right? But then, he sees in the video, he can see a certain like kind of tower in the background. And he's able to make out exactly where his son kind of leaves like the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when we're running, almost going in like a straight line, right? And so he gets out maps. He has he has maps of all the different properties in this town in Maybrook, right? And so he gets out.
It makes sense because he's a contractor. He's a home remodeler and construction worker, and owns a construction company. So it would make sense that he would have blueprints for houses and maps of residential areas and stuff like that.
Yeah, property lines and such like that. Like you don't want to start working on something and start building onto someone else's property by accident. So he goes out, gets out the maps, and he's able to draw a straight line across from the back of his house forward to where Matthew might be running to.
Yeah, because he just saw on the Ring camera, he just ran in a straight line.
And so now that, it's interesting. I think now that he's been able to kind of, at least in that dream, tell his son he loves him, right?
Hmm.
Like he can start do more like detective work on this, right?
Yeah.
You know, he's not as obsessed with, he's still obsessed with Justine, but now, he gets busy on this, right? And so he visits the house of another couple that, who's a classmate of his son, right? The Baileys, right? And at first, Erica just opens the door, right? And,
She's
they
played
kind of have an
by
awkward conversation,
yeah, she's played by Sarah Paxton.
right? And then, they kind of have an awkward, it kind of starts awkwardly,
Hmm.
right? It's like, well, this might be a weird ask, but like, I'd like to see I know the police probably, definitely looked at your footage like they looked at mine, but like, can I look at it? It's like,
And
no,
she's like,
I think I'll
no,
be
I think it'd
uncomfortable
be,
with it.
yeah, I would be very uncomfortable with you looking at that. So, and I
So,
said,
but
okay, well,
he's not
thank
going
you
to
for
take
your
no for an
time,
answer. So he's
but yeah, so then he sees her husband.
played by Justin Long,
Hmm.
and he's happy to share it, right?
Yeah,
And
he's
so
just getting home from work or from somewhere, and he sees him in the
I love
driveway.
how Justin Long drives a Prius in this
Yeah,
movie. Would have never guessed that. Anyway,
yeah. Now he plays Gary.
so Gary, yes, and they watch the video, and Gary and um
Erica.
Archer are kind of
Oh,
watching it
Archer.
together, and
Yeah.
Erica kind of stays in the background. She doesn't really want to watch it
Hmm.
still, right?
She seems kind of
And then,
upset, so kind of miffed that Gary was so open with sharing this video.
and he finally gets into pause as she's kind of leaving like the sidewalk area too, and he counts the squares on the
Hmm.
sidewalk, right? And he's able to make his measurement with his map, and he draws a straight line as well,
And it
right? He
intersects
wants to
with
see,
the line that he had drawn from Matthew.
right? So now he wants to try to get, he's gonna try to limit an area to wonder where this might be. Okay. So he's continuing on, and now he's driving to a gas station. Well, he drives by a gas station, and he sees Justine at this gas station filling up her car. So he decides to turn around and confront her,
Hmm.
right? And then she's like, I don't have anything to say with you. But then at some point, like, he says like, oh, I think that's the first honest thing you've said, in the last month, right?
So they're arguing. And then, from off in the distance, we see Benedict Wong. We see Marcus running up. He's just running. He's sort of in that same sort of, triangle shape. His arms are kind of back like the kids were.
Yep. And he's running
up
hard.
and his face is bloody.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And he is running. He's booking it. And he goes straight for Justine. And he tackles her.
Yep.
And
gas pump gets pulled out of her car.
He starts strangling her. And Archer sees this and he defends Justine. He goes and he body checks Marcus.
Yep.
Gets him
onto the ground, and she starts running into the gas station. And like he's still trying to get Marcus Archer off of him because he's still obviously
first
trying to target
she crawls under the car.
Yes.
Which I don't know how they could both fit under this car, because this car is too low to the ground for them to. But when it shows them both crawling under the car, she gets out the other side. Marcus comes out too. Then she runs into the gas station,
right?
And Marcus follows her.
They have a tussle. Marcus follows, and then it cuts. We don't get the resolution yet to all of this, because now we're going to deal with Paul. And we have Paul, right? And we see him. He's at the station. He's at his locker, and he's getting ready for his shift, right? And he gets a phone call. He's talking to Donna, right? And she right now is, I think they say she's in Boston for work or something. But she tells her like, oh yeah, tell my dad though that they're releasing some of us early. I'll be home Friday, so I can make his celebration dinner, right?
Yeah.
Because we're gonna find out like there's he's been with the Force for so many years, and there's gonna be a big celebration of it, right? He's like, oh, okay. And then she asks him, oh, are you gonna go to the meeting today? He's like, oh, I wasn't planning on it, right? And it's like, oh, no, well, don't you think you should? He's like, no, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. It's like, well, okay, well, you know what? If there's time after work and I'm near one, I'll go to one. It's like, well, that's good. It's like, oh, and yeah, when I get home, it lines up when I'm supposed to be ovulating.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, okay. You can tell he's not reacting the way that a husband might react to that.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that enthused about it. So, he's heading out for his patrol car, but he ends up walking by the office of the captain, Ed Locke, again, played by Toby Huss. And he's sitting at his desk, he's looking at some paperwork and all. And he's like, "Oh yeah, Ed, like yeah, Donna said that she's gonna be home, early, so we can make your celebration." So we find out that the captain is his father-in-law, right?
Okay,
And
see,
so,
I missed that. I missed
yes.
that part when I was watching it, that the captain is his father-in-law.
Yes.
Okay. So then it makes sense that some of their interactions in this movie make a little bit more sense now.
Excuse me. So, he leaves. He's going to his car. And when he's leaving, he sees Justine across the way, right? She's there filing her report about the vandalism, right?
Mm-hmm. And, so we get that wave from his perspective.
Yep. And we see him at some point then, like not long after that, he gets a text about, hey, we should meet up later for a drink, right? And, he continues about going, about his shift. We see him just kind of driving around, mostly uneventful, until, right, he comes up kind of towards this.
He's sort of driving past a little alleyway,
warehousey district of his town, and
he looks over and there's this guy who looks like he's trying to break into the window of one of the.
He kind of runs across. Well, the first thing he kind of runs across the street, kind of out of an alley and very fast, right? It looks kind of weird, so he slowly just turns the lights on, he doesn't put the sirens on yet. He just pulls up to the alley, and he sees him trying to break into a window,
dumpster, and he looks like he's trying to break into a window. And so he turns on his PA system and he's like, "Hey, you, stop!" And the guy sees him, falls off the dumpster as he's trying to jump down, and then just runs. So he's driving.
A little chase.
So we get a little chase, and he's driving. He's looking down, seeing him run through the alleys, and so he's trying to cut him off at the pass. And he catches up with him and gets out of the car, and now it's a foot race. It's a foot chase. And he catches up with the guy and takes him back to his car.
Tackles him,
takes him back to his car, and he's going to start to frisk him. And he puts cuffs on him. So he
he's asking, like, "Hey, do you have anything in your pockets?
Anything in your pockets that can stick me or cut me?" Standard questions that
the guys just kind of
ask when they're going to frisk
shaking his head. No,
he's like, no.
This is the guy. This is the guy we saw outside.
Yes, this is the guy that we saw asking Justine for change. And so he goes to frisk him, and he goes to reach his hand in his pocket, and he sticks his finger on something. Pulls his hand out, and he pulls a needle out of his pocket. He had put latex gloves on, but it just goes right through the glove, right into his fingertip. And so, he drops it on the ground. He drops and
he punches
on the ground, and then he just punches the guy.
This guy's name is James, by the way.
He punches James in the side of the head, and so James falls to the ground. And then he realizes that he did this on the hood of his patrol car, and there's a camera. He's got the dash cam.
There's a dash cam
just right in his face. So it saw everything that just happened.
So he unplugs it real quickly.
And then he goes and grabs James off the ground.
Gets him awake.
And
James is stunned still, right? He's just gotten punched out.
mm-hmm. And he's like, basically, okay, so you screwed up. You did me wrong. I did you wrong. Let's just call it even. I'll uncuff you. You can go about your day. But if I ever see you back here,
James is like, okay.
Yeah, he's like, but if I ever see you back here, you leave town. If I ever see you again, things will be different.
It'll be different, right? So he goes back to, he's getting off the shift. He's gonna talk to the captain. And
first he jumps into his car and gets the first aid kit out of his glove compartment.
That's right.
And he starts like spraying all this disinfectant and everything onto his finger because that's a very real concern. There's a reason why cops always ask, do you have anything in your pockets that'll stick me, poke me, cut me, whatever.
Yes.
That's a very real concern that I faced when I was a police officer. And that was a question that I asked many, many times. Luckily, I never stuck my finger with anything in somebody's pocket.
Yes.
It's a very real concern because you got all sorts of diseases that like to play around on needles. Especially when they're shared.
Jason Segel was very grateful that he shared Sarah Marshall after.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
after all this stuff.
He goes back to the station, right? He's done with his shift, and he goes to the captain. And there's someone else there, maybe it's FBI or someone else, right? That's working on the stuff, and they're actually, you can tell, they're talking about how Archer continually comes in there, right? The guy's like, he's not the only parent that's lost a kid, right? And but Paul's was outside the office there, and you kind of tell like he has something to say, and it's like, right? And so they have a private conversation in the office after this, and she's like, okay, well, it stays on for a month, so if he doesn't come back in a month, it just gets erased, and no one's ever going to know anything about this.
So this conversation makes a whole lot more sense now that I know that he's his father-in-law.
And then he's like, have you, did you take care of your finger? Right. He's also, so we cut back.
He's like, I haven't got it checked out. Yeah. He's like, go get it checked out.
So after he checks out, right. And the thing, like, if you look, now the next thing we see, he's back. He's at the bar with Justine.
And so, he walks in.
Movie earlier, he had his finger bandaged, right? And she asked him about it. He's like, oh, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Right? Now we get the connection.
And so this is one of those times where we get, the different vantage points with slightly different, just based off of the person's perspective. Because
we don't get much about the bar here. We mostly get what happens in the bedroom.
But when he showed up at the bar earlier, they got up, or Justine got up and hugged him. And so the hug is slightly different here.
Yes.
I don't remember which one was just the quick like friend hug, and the other, and which one was the more of an embrace than a hug.
Right. That's right. I forgot about that.
They were different hugs based off the different perspectives.
So we have the hug, but we don't spend much more time in the bar. We just go right back to Justine's, and
they're having sex. They're having a tea party at Justine's house.
Emotional catharsis.
Yes, emotional catharsis. Wild monkey emotional catharsis.
And so we then, and then he wakes up, he's up, clearly not happy about it. And then, right, he gets dropped off, and now we see him come home, and you can tell he is hungover and not happy about what happened that night, right? And when he gets in, he looks in the kitchen and the little kitchenette, and he sees his wife's Donna's purse. He's like, "Oh boy,
yeah, she's home.
She came home.
She's home earlier than she said she was going to be."
And so we hear her, and then all of a sudden we hear her call his name. And he turns around. There she is. And this is the woman we saw.
Mm-hmm. Attack
in
Justine.
Attack Justine.
June Diane
And
Raphael.
she can tell that he is drunk. And then she's just like, you son of a bitch. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we get back at the station. He's getting out to his car again.
And he sees
James
kind of walking around the corner, walking toward the station.
And he thinks he's going to tell about the incident.
Yeah. So, he yells at him. He's like, "What did I tell you?"
What did I tell you?
Up there. Well, first he unplugs the
he unplugs
the dash cam, and then he goes and yells at him. He's like, "What did I tell you? I told you never to come back here."
And then it cuts.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get James. Yep. Right now we have the James portion of our story,
and it opens with James in a tent.
Yep, he's a junkie in the woods
with a crack pipe.
With a crack pipe, right? And he's out of drugs, right? So he needs money for his fix, right? And so we see him talking on the phone. Sounds like he's talking to like a cousin or a sibling.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, no, I'm gonna get this job soon. I need this money for the suit, so then I can get this job, so I can pay mom back, and all this and that, right? Very typical junkie type,
very typical junkie behavior,
right? And he's walking down the street, and he's walking next to the cars, and he's just trying door handles,
and he finds one that's unlocked. So he kind of looks around, and he gets in the car, and he's looking through stuff, and he sees a backpack.
Yep, little girl's backpack.
Yeah, like a little girl's backpack.
Like she's 6-7 years old, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so he grabs the backpack and he's walking away and he's just sort of digging through it, and he finds a little tablet.
Yep. But this is like a pink tablet,
it's like a pink,
like a little toy tablet.
It's got like cat ears on it, and it's got these headphones. These like purple headphones, and he's like, "Oh, perfect." So, he tosses the backpack into the grass, and he's just walking holding his tablet.
And he's still been talking on the phone. He's back on the phone with this other person while he's doing this. And, and then he goes to a pawn shop.
And he's sitting outside the pawn shop first. Like, he's sitting
outside. He's waiting for it to open.
He's got the headphones on that were with this tablet. These purple headphones. And he's holding onto the tablet, and it's like he's playing music from it. Right?
Hey, he has to pass the time.
So the pawn shop owner, he walks in the pawn shop, and so James follows him in, and he's trying to sell the tablet to the pawn shop.
But the guy's like, no, like I can't give you anything for this.
I can't take it.
This is worthless. What are you doing here, right? And we can see in the background there is a picture of all the kids, a reward for information.
$50,000 reward for information that leads to their recovery.
Doesn't notice this, right? So he's just focused on the pawn shop owner, and it's like he can't get anything, right? So it starts to rain, right? And so now he's just kind of walking around the town,
mm-hmm.
and he shows up in a neighborhood, right?
And he sees a familiar house.
And you see Alex's, it's like, oh, okay. And he sees that there's a bunch of newspapers in this driveway. It's like, oh, wow, maybe they're not home. Maybe, this might be the perfect house to break into.
He goes and looks through some windows and, knocks on the door, but nobody answers.
And again, still, you have the papers in there, right? And so he climbs up to a top window and lets himself in.
He lets himself in and into one of the bedrooms.
Right. And when he goes out, he starts getting a few things from he gets a pillowcase. He starts putting some things in.
He goes into a kid's room, probably Alex's room. And
he steps out into the hallway, and then he looks down. There's one room that looks like there's a little bit of a light under it. Right
at the end of the hall.
At the end of the hall, he ignores it. He goes to the master bedroom, right?
And he's just looking for something. He's carrying around the pillowcase that he found in this kid's room.
Yes. And then he goes to the kitchen. He starts getting silverware.
Well, first he goes into the living room and he's looking through the movies. Yeah, he sees a couple of game systems on the floor. And it's oh sweet, and then he's looking through movies and it's like, oh, Willow, I love that movie.
Like Willow, yes. Like I'm gonna keep this one for myself.
Then he turns around and he sees those two people that Justine saw.
He sees the reflection first.
That's right. He
TV.
sees the reflection of the TV. And, he kind of jumps a little bit and looks back, and they're just sitting on the couch staring.
Yeah. They're not
just like they were when Justine looked through the window.
And then he looks at them, right? Because at first he's like, oh, I'm sorry. But they don't respond at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't even blink, right?
So then,
okay.
That's when he goes his hand in front of their faces, and he realizes that, they're not responding to him. So, okay, well, I can go about my business. And this is when he goes into the kitchen, and he finds the silver.
Yes.
So he gets the case for the silverware, and he's emptying all the silverware out into his bag, into his pillowcase.
And so, right, but then as he's doing that, right,
the people stand up off the couch from the couch, and they start walking toward him, and so he starts freaking out.
Yep.
And he's kind of fumbling around, and he opens up a door that turns out to be the basement door.
Goes to the basement.
And he goes down to the basement, and he sees all these kids in the basement. Sees just a bunch of kids. They're just standing there. They're just standing there and staring. Just like the two people were upstairs.
Yep.
You're just catatonic.
Yep. And they kind of turn, they look at him, and
he freaks out.
Right back up.
Runs. He just runs out of that house.
And he throws everything in front of this, like the basement door. Right. And then he barely is able to get out the door before the other two get to him. Right. And he just runs out, and you see the door slam shut. Right. Yeah. He still has the pillowcase with him. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
he takes that to the pawn shop.
Goes to the pawn shop.
And so you see the pawnbroker. He's putting the silverware down, weighing it, determining how much silver is there, and he's got his calculator out.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and then yeah.
So and meanwhile, James is standing there. He's got the pillowcase over his shoulder. He just got it draped over his shoulder, and while
like nothing just happened.
Yeah. While the pawnbroker is, he's determining how much he's going to get for the silver. Or how much he's going to sell.
He gives him a decent amount of money.
Then, James sees that poster on the wall for $50,000 for information leading to the recovery of these children. He's like, oh, I wonder if those are the kids that I saw in the basement.
Mm-hmm. So he takes the cash the pawnbroker gave him,
and
he goes out, and he calls the number on the reward, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, yeah, I'm calling about those kids and the reward. Like,
call about the kids with the reward.
I know where they are,
like
in the basement.
Now, how do we work? Do I have to come in to get the money, or are you just going to send it to mail it to me?
He's tweaking out a bit, because police stations kind of scare me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Can I meet somebody somewhere to get the money? And is it cash? Is it check?
Can I get that in crack? So no, you have it.
Yeah, so they kind of hang up on him.
Right.
So he decides he's going to go and report this in person. Try to get the money that way.
And so as he's approaching the station, that's when Paul comes back.
Paul comes out and sees him, and then we get that interaction between him and Paul.
And now you have a little chase again.
Mm-hmm. So Paul gets in his car.
And then we see him get back in the woods towards where his tent is. Mm-hmm. But when he gets in the woods, he sees near his tent, there's that woman that not quite, this time it's
not so much a jump scare. It's more, she's just waving at him. He just looks over and she's standing there and she's just waving at him.
It's like, hi. Right?
And so that freaks him out. So he goes into his tent and he zips it up. And then he hears footsteps outside and he thinks it's this woman, who's coming to do who knows what to him. Because he's tweaking out, and
So then he gets.
So he
goes all these needles in the tent.
He grabs
so
3 needles off the ground and he's like holds them up like he's going to stab whatever comes in that door. And so we see the zipper slowly come up down, and as soon as the flap opens up, he just slams those syringes. You know, he just swings them, and it's Paul, and he stabs Paul right in the cheek with 3 needles.
But he's able to tell him though that after this, like, I know who these kids are.
Yeah, because Paul's about to kill him.
Yep.
And so he's like, wait, I know where these kids are. I know where the kids are.
So before they drive the show, I was like, okay, before we go, I need to know, do you have hepatitis or anything like that?
It's like, what? Do you have AIDS or hepatitis or anything like that? He's like, not that I know of.
So they go to Alex's house, right? And they're sitting out there, right? In the squad car, patrol car, and
Paul James is like, no. Before Paul goes in, he's like, James is like, well, just make sure that you don't take the credit for this. Make sure that how do I know that you're not going to try to take credit for this and take my money?
Take all the money. Paul doesn't answer him.
Yeah, he doesn't answer him. And Paul gets up and he goes up and he knocks on the door. And then it opens.
The door opens. He goes in.
And he walks in. And then it shuts behind him. And then, there's a little bit of
hours later. Like, he's just waiting.
It's a little bit of a time jump. And James is still sitting out in the
It's like nighttime now, right? James is still sitting out there. And then the door opens.
And Paul comes out. And
Paul's there.
Rushes toward the car. He opens up the door and he grabs James. James is freaking out. And so he drags James out of the car and into the house.
And that's the James sequence. We come back to Marcus. We haven't seen Marcus in a while, have we?
We haven't. Not since he was chasing Justine through the gas station.
This time Marcus is at the supermarket. And he's shopping with his husband.
Mm-hmm. He's shopping with his husband, and he's on the phone. And
Clayton Ferris is on the phone with Justine.
It's this conversation with Justine that he had earlier, where he's like, "I'm just gonna pretend like this call never happened."
Right, but he has agreed that he will talk with Alex's family, right? Because as a welfare check, right?
Yeah.
So. It's funny. He's walking through and they're assigning the different things they want to eat. And
Terry keeps on.
Marcus is kind of tired about talking about this. I don't think he really wants to be at the supermarket either, to be honest.
No, but although Terry's just picking up. He's got 2 different boxes of cereal. He's like, they're both Fruity Pebbles, but they're different flavors of Fruity Pebbles.
That one.
He's like, that one, and then he's sort of pointing. Terry keeps on picking up 2 things.
Which ketchup do you want?
Which one do we want?
So then, the next day. Now, this is the meeting. It's supposed to be with Alex's parents. And Mark is in his office. He's eating, some like nuts from his little bowl, right? And he's looking at something. And his secretary comes in. It's like, oh, yeah, you're like, 1 o'clock is here.
1 o'clock's here. And he's like, oh, okay. Well, send him in.
It's like, oh, yeah, I guess send him in.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of keeps staring at him. Like, it's like, it's like, are you sure you want to talk with this person? Yeah. And so then we kind of see, because like his window's kind of opaque, right? It's kind of clouded a little bit. So, but enough you can see this red hair, walking through it, right?
And through the door walks this woman that we've seen in a few jump scares.
Yes, it's Kevin Costner's wife, Amy Madigan, from Field of Dreams.
Yeah,
no,
but she looks slightly different, just a little bit different than she did in Field of Dreams.
Yeah. Yes. She looks a little bit more different now. She's a little bit more put together, right? But she's got this really outlandish costume. Like it's almost like she's like this white
bright
makeup,
red wig,
bright red hair,
makeup all over her
glasses,
face. Like
just huge purse,
lipstick smeared all over her lips. Like Joker style.
You wonder how I got these scars? It was Ghost in my husband's cornfield.
I do know. I do want to know how you got those scars. Did you were you biting into a chicken leg and bit the bone and the shards of it, cut your lips or what?
So we find out this is Alex's Aunt Gladys. And she's like, oh, Alex's parents can't come. Sorry. Like, it's like, well, I really do need to talk with them.
They're at home. They have a case of consumption.
He's like, wait,
there's
consumption?
It's like consumption.
It's like, well, what is that? It's like, oh, it's just a bit of this or that. It's like,
okay,
oh,
I guess I was confused because I thought that was something that settlers face in the Oregon Trail, like tuberculosis.
It's like, no, well, they're not well. It's like, well, I really wish I could speak with them because, like, we did have a welfare complaint. Like, it's like, oh, well, from who?
I can't say that. I'm not at liberty to say that.
And meanwhile, while she's talking, there's a scene where she sees these like ribbons on this because she's sitting on this couch.
Yeah,
and there's a little end table, and she just sees these ribbons on this end table. She stares at them. Marcus is talking to her. It's like, well, okay, I guess I can arrange for them to maybe come in or talk to you on the phone or whatnot.
He's like, this is the kind of thing that kind of has to be done in person.
Yes. It's like, I don't really want to involve CPS.
It's like, oh, CPS. Yeah, we don't want to involve them.
Dear. And so they make an agreement trying to make it happen. So we cut back. And now it's at Marcus and Terry's house. And they are sitting down to have a meal. And it's hot dogs, right?
Yeah,
and they have nice little hot dog trays.
No. There's something about these hot dogs. There's a reason why there are 7 hot dogs.
Okay.
And it is a tribute.
This is just a tribute.
Yeah, so it's a tribute, not like the Tenacious D song. But yeah, so they have 7 hot dogs. It's a tribute to Trevor Moore from The Whitest Kids You Know, who was a very good friend of Zach Kreger.
Zach Kreger was, he was co-creator. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was, it comes from the skit Hot Dog Timmy.
Okay.
And Trevor Moore passed away. So as a tribute to his friend, he put these 7 hot dogs in this movie.
That's nice and touching. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
So, and they're watching this something about ants, right? And they're living
so
room,
ants.
Right?
It's talking about. I just had it.
Well, while you're looking it up, it's it's definitely a bizarre nature documentary you're watching while you eat.
So it's talking about cordyceps, which is a fungal disease, like basically a fungal infection that affects ants. It's also, if you've ever played the game The Last of Us or seen the show The Last of Us, that is the zombie virus. It's cordyceps. It's a fungal, basically a fungal infection that takes over. And so, yeah, it's showing
again importance.
Yeah, they're talking about these ants that they are infected by cordyceps, and so eventually this fungus will grow out their heads, and they're basically being controlled like zombies by this fungus.
And so it's odd nature documentary you're watching as you sit down and eat hot dogs on an afternoon, but that's what they're watching, right? And they get a doorbell. The doorbell rings. Like, oh, well, who could it be? And Marcus answers it. And it's Gladys. And she's out of breath. She's like, oh, I'm so glad I made it here. I missed the bus, this and that. And, it's like, right? And, while they're talking, it's like, I need to talk to you about, Alex and his parents. It's like, oh, okay. And meanwhile, Terry comes up from behind. And, she's like, oh.
So can I just come in and get some water?
I just need some water.
Marcus is like, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea.
And then,
Terry's like, oh, of course
Terry comes up and, so come on in. We'll get you some water.
They go into the kitchen.
And so Terry's like, come on, get her a glass. And so Marcus goes to the cupboard to get a glass. She's like, oh, a bowl, please. It's like, a bowl of water. He's like, yeah, it's just a weird idiosyncrasy I have.
Yeah, I've just accepted it at this point.
So he's like, okay. So he pulls this big bowl out and he fills it up with water. He's like, here's your bowl of water. And meanwhile, she's put
He's
her
like,
giant purse up on the kitchen island.
massive purse. And she's like, oh yeah, I talked with, Alex's, his parents, and like, oh, his dad would be happy to come in on Monday. So there's
And
no
Mark is
need
like, oh,
to
great.
contact CPS, is there? It's like, no, I guess not.
I guess not.
Right?
And meanwhile, she reaches into her purse and she pulls out this stick. And it's got some ribbons wrapped around it. Some very familiar. And then she wants to be
part
ribbons.
of their wolf pack, so she cuts her hand with it.
Yes. First they do a shot of roofies. But no. Right? So yeah, she pulls this thing out and he sees the stick and he's like, are those my ribbons? And she kind of ignores him and she just slices her hand with
you
one
haven't contacted the police yet, stick. Have you? And then like she's rubbing the blood all over the stick at this point. Mm-hmm. She just right. And then like he's like really confused. And then he's like, Marcus tells Terry like get her a towel.
Yeah. Terry tells Marcus get her a towel. Or no. Yeah, Marcus tells Terry. Yeah, Terry gets the towel. Closer.
And she gets those big scissors.
And she goes up, she cuts off a lock of Terry's hair.
She's like, Al, she cut my hair.
Yeah, and so then she takes that, she wraps it around the stick.
She breaks the stick.
And yeah, they're like, what are you doing? She just cut my hair. And yeah, she breaks the stick and drops it in the bowl. And then all of a sudden,
Mark's like, I think it's time to call the cops. And he's about to call when she brings out a bell.
Mm-hmm. And she just dings the bell. Well, no, she doesn't break the stick yet. She doesn't break the stick yet.
Because not yet. That's right.
She rings the bell and he just freezes.
And he freezes. And he kind of starts shaking a little bit.
Like he's trying to resist something.
And Terry's like, what's going on, Marcus?
And then she breaks the stick. And Marcus just tackles Terry to the ground and holds him down and starts headbutting right in the face over and over.
Yes.
Until Terry's head is flat.
Yeah. It was done.
So yeah. So he just killed Terry by headbutting.
And she rings the bell, so he stops. That's done. He's getting up. And he's still like trance-possessed like, right?
And so she picks up
and now stick. He looks a lot like what we saw him.
Yeah. Where he's covered in blood. And
now she gets out that lock of hair from Justine.
Mm-hmm. And wraps it around the stick.
Same thing.
And then smears a little blood on there and then breaks the stick and he takes off out the door.
And she puts everything back into her purse. Just casually walks over Terry's dead body and leaves.
And walks out to the minivan outside, which she said that her car broke down and she walked.
Yep.
But no, she parked the minivan right outside. So she goes and gets in it and she drives back to where she came from.
Yep. And then we cut back to
Marcus, and he's running down. He's running like a bat out of hell.
And you can tell he's running across town.
His arms are straight out behind him, like a triangle,
a baseball
just like
field,
all those kids.
Parks, right? And then we finally see back to
that gas station.
Back to the gas station, and we see him coming up, and we get the tussle, and now we get the end of the tussle, and you see him. We see Justine run into the gas station,
and then he runs in right after her
store.
She's running. She's kind of throwing stuff off the shelves, to try to stop him.
And she's looking at the gas station. She's like, help me! And this dude is not doing anything. Dude's
just like, get out of my shop.
I want to touch on him again in a few minutes, right? And then, right.
So Justine kind of trips.
She's trying to go through the back entrance, but it's padlocked.
Yeah, it's padlocked, and so she can't get it open. So she's cornered. And he just comes running up to her. And before he can get to her, then we see Josh Brolin. We see Archer just body check him straight into the freezer, into the coolers.
To the freezer. Yeah. As everything falls down, right? So she goes back out the entrance. And then again, this guy's like, get out of my store. Like, what the fuck, dude?
You're not going to call the cops. You see what's going on.
What clearly Josh Brolin, clearly Archer and Justine are not the aggressors here. And you're yelling at them. Right? So meanwhile, Marcus, he gets back up like nothing happened.
Yeah, he just
and
jumps right
Archer
back
still
up.
has to kind of recover himself because
and now
he just body
he's
checked
even
somebody.
more covered in blood. A lot of it's his own blood.
So he chases
and his
back to
also
her
his
car.
eyes are kind of bulging out.
Yeah,
his eyes are bulging.
Yeah, it's all swollen and bulging, right? So she gets back to her car and like she's getting in and like the window's down on her side and she's trying to start the car and now like Marcus is back at it and like the window's not down. That's right. He punches through the window.
He punches through the window.
And he's trying to like go through, kind of crawl through the window and she's able to speed off before he could climb in. So he's got to start running again.
So he's running after her car and so Archer gets in his truck and he's following. And Justine drives across. There's a cross street, and she drives across the intersection.
A couple cross street that she goes by. There's a stop sign and there's a traffic light after that.
And
so you see Archer. He goes through the stop sign and he's approaching the red light.
Yeah, he's approaching the red light.
He has a red light,
and he sees
Justine
Marcus run out into the middle of this intersection. That this direction it's a red light, which means the other direction is a green light. And this car just comes and hits Marcus.
Yeah, and he just goes flying.
And he goes flying. And then you hear the driver of that car. She's just screaming. She's crying.
She just
hit somebody.
Like, of course. And Archer, he pulls his car over. He starts his truck over. He starts walking and he sees her and she's hysterical.
And
then you can see why she's hysterical beyond just
Marcus
hitting
laying on the ground with no head. Like Marcus's head is gone.
Shy away what happens when someone is running
and they get run over by a car.
Running at full speed, and he gets hit at full speed by a car. The result's not pretty.
No.
Right? So, and like, he's like confused about everything that's just happened here. Right? And so we cut, he's at the, we see him at the ER. And, he's bandaged up his hand. He's got his stitches, right? And there's a cop there taking a report. And he leaves, and it's not his wife that's in the waiting room, right?
No,
it's Justine. And she's like, thank you.
Thank you for saving my life. I
don't know what got him. I spoke with him earlier today, and he was just fine. And like, I've never seen anyone with that look or run like that before.
And he's like, I have. And now Archer has done a 180 on his feelings towards Justine.
Right.
He now does not think that she was involved because Marcus was running the exact same way that Matthew was when he ran out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so now
they go back to
there's something
Archer's
else
house.
going on.
He shows the video, right? The ring video. And then he brings out the map and the intersection, right? And he's like, I think somewhere around here.
Yeah, because he circled where the two lines had intersected. And
then she's like, oh my God, Alex Lilly lives in this house right here, which is like right in that main that circle area that he's concerned about. So now we get Alex. And now we actually take a little bit of a time jump backwards.
Yeah.
He's in Justine's class, Miss Candy's class, right? And they're talking about parasites, tapeworms, and such like that. And
so
there's this. See Matthew.
Can anybody tell me what
Archer's son
a parasite is?
Sits
and one of them's like a
not
tapeworm.
The row sits in front of him, but the row over, right? And he throws things at him. Like he kind of picks on.
Yeah. So like he throws
Alex.
A pencil at him.
And Justine tells him to go to the hall, but they pick on him, right?
And it shows the kids walking down the hall, and Matthew comes up and he sort of just pushes Alex, and it's sort of a little montage of just Alex being bullied, basically.
Yep. And then so we get through this, and then we get to the end of the day. He's got this little mobile that he got back that he made for class.
Yeah, this little
or diorama. Sorry, diorama. Yeah. And his dad picks him up. It's like, hey, Axeman, right? And his dad's just friendly, and you can tell like
friendly,
this
good
is
dad takes care of his son, loves his son.
You can tell that we've seen him in the
Yeah.
house as one of those. It's
Now,
been
he was very
mostly
different.
catatonic.
He was very different before. He's like,
Yep.
now he's a very loving father to his son.
Right. So as they're driving home, like he's like, yeah, well, your mom's aunt, your Aunt Gladys is coming. I was like, oh, well,
Well,
like
didn't he
why?
say your
Well,
mom's Aunt Gladys?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, yes. Well, yes. Again, there's details that differ, but it's for a reason.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, she's gonna be staying for a while, right? And he's like, well, why does she have to stay here? It's like, well, your mom was the only family that would take her.
It's like, well,
Right.
how long is she going to be here? And it's like, I don't think she's going to be here any more than a month. She's kind of sick, so she's just here so she can get back on her feet.
Only 1 month.
So she can like feel a little bit better.
But again, right? Theoretically, that's the right thing to do, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, family should be there for each other.
So it cuts to that evening. It's like kind of late at night, and it's after Alex's bedtime. But he hears like the car pull up, and he sees them getting this Aunt Gladys.
Yeah. He sees them getting her stuff out of the car.
The car
sees his dad carrying this tree, this little miniature tree.
This tree,
almost like a bonsai tree, but bigger than that. But
yes. No Karate Kid. No. Anyway, so cuts the next morning. He goes to his parents' room, and he comes in this conversation about the parents. Just kind of his dad's just not definitely like with Alex, not totally happy that they're doing this. Like, we haven't seen her in 15 years. She didn't even come to our wedding.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, well, and then his mom's like, oh yeah, we have family and such, right? And so they see him like, oh, hey, X-Man. It's like, make sure you get ready for school, all that. It's like, just make sure you're quiet. Your Aunt Gladys is still, she's still
so
sleeping.
Alex's dad is played by Whitmer Thomas, and his mom is Callie Shutera. Sorry.
Okay. So, before he goes back downstairs, he goes to the end of the hall, to the room, the guest room. Right? And he opens up the door, and he sees this red wig that's all, on this head, on the dresser.
Yeah. She's got those whole, mannequin heads for wigs and stuff.
Yes. And then he sees that tree, right? And then he looks into the room, and then like she's just there, and it's like she's pretty much just bald with a few long,
she's got a few strands
of hair, and her eyes are open.
But she's all pale, and her eyes are open.
So
she's staring
shuts
at
the
him.
door.
So he shuts the door real quick.
Right. And again, and that's kind of the last we get of this nice little idyllic family of seeing how they are, right? Because again, we get back with the school, and there's one day that he's there, and he does not see the family minivan.
Yeah.
Right.
So he walks on.
This is probably, maybe this is the same day, maybe it's the next day, right? It's pretty soon after this, right? And he gets in, and he's like, "Oh, Mom, Dad, like, why didn't you pick me up from school?" And he looks over in the dining room,
and they're sitting at the table, but they're not moving.
Yep, they're sitting across from each other, and they're just again almost catatonic. And he comes up there, and
at the head of the table is
hey, X-Man, and they're talking slower, right? And they're just sitting there,
and sitting at the head of the table with a bowl of water is Gladys.
Well, she's not sitting. She walks in.
That's right.
The bowl walls there. She walks in. It's like, oh, hey, Alex, I haven't seen you since you were a teensy weensy baby.
And now she's in her full getup. She's got the wig and she's got the makeup and all that.
Right, and like he kind of pulls back again. Like, I get it. She's kind of weird. Like he doesn't really know who she is, and
he's never really
responding
met her.
the way that someone might respond. Plus, his parents are just kind of sitting there, this
just
weird state that he can't explain because he's in the 3rd grade.
Yeah,
right. It's like like, oh no, your parents are fine. You're fine. Right. And then, he's like, oh, it's just like, it's gonna be okay, Alex. Like, what do you want for dinner? Like, I didn't know what you wanted. Do you want like chicken nuggets? Like, gives these different options. And then he sees a glass of water and he throws it in his dad's face
Mm-hmm.
to try to wake him up.
And
It's like, and now this sets Gladys
says
off.
Gladys
Like,
off.
that's it, young man. You're going
You're
to
gonna
bed
go to bed
without
right
dinner.
now. You go upstairs, you brush your teeth, you wash your hands, and you go to bed without dinner. And his dad, there's no effect from the water.
Nothing.
Like
Nothing.
he doesn't flinch. Nothing.
Right.
So Alex goes upstairs and he brushes his teeth and he goes to bed.
Yeah, he wakes up the next morning. He comes down steps, and now his parents are still there. And now Gladys,
Gladys is at the table.
And now she's at the head of the table,
and she's like, "Come on down, Alex.
Like sit." And right now she doesn't have the wig on. She has a little skull cap on, right?
And she doesn't have all the makeup on.
And she looks a lot more like Amy Madigan,
mm-hmm.
just a little bit older. And what they definitely age her with makeup look in this.
Yeah.
And she's like, all right, I need to be perfectly clear here that you won't tell a living soul that I am here.
And you will not tell anybody.
Anything is wrong. Yeah. You can't give them
anything. Tell anything about what's happening to your parents. Nothing.
You will go to school and you will come home. Right? It's like, and she shows the level of commitment that she has. It's like, you want to know what happens if you do tell anybody? I can make your parents hurt themselves.
I can make them hurt each other.
She breaks one of her sticks. She puts it in, and they just each start stabbing themselves.
She pricks her finger with one of the thorns on the stick, and then breaks it. And they pick up forks, and they just start stabbing themselves in the face.
And they keep going
through the cheeks, and they just keep going. So they've got these fork holes in their cheeks.
Yep. And she finally stops.
She rings the bell and they stop. Right?
She rings the bell, they stop, and then so you see what I can do.
I can make them hurt themselves. I can make them hurt each other. I can make them eat each other.
I can make them eat each other. Like, what a damn intense thing to say to a third grader.
Yeah,
I could make your parents eat each other.
So you're not going to tell anybody any of this, are you? And Alex is like, no.
It's like, okay, well, you'll go to school.
Terrified, first off.
Yeah.
I mean, rightfully so.
It's like, so you will go to school now. He goes to school, comes back, and now she's like, the house is all dark. She's got these candles. She's doing some ritual. She has newspaper up all over the windows now. And she's like, your parents need to eat. There's soup.
There's soup in the kitchen. Go get it for them.
Kitchen. Good. And you can tell he is struggling right now, right? Because he has to use a can opener. He's third grade. Yeah. Like, he can kind of do it, but like he still has
he's like got the can of chicken noodle soup, the Campbell's chicken noodle soup, like between his legs, and he's sitting there trying to work the manual can opener.
Yep. Some of it's spilling, and then he finally gets in the bowl, and he's trying to force feed his parents this chicken noodle soup. Right? And we kind of go through a progression of this.
He's like, you'll come home, you'll feed them, and you'll get some more soup tomorrow.
And then you see him go to the grocery store, and then he gets smart. He's going to buy the pole cap.
Yeah, he's going to buy the soup with the pole cap on it, and that way he doesn't have to try to use the can opener again.
Now, yep, and this continues, right?
Yeah, every day he goes to school. He just sits there quietly in the back, like doesn't say a word.
Taking some abuse, doesn't say anything.
And
so and then finally there's one evening, like he goes, he sees Aunt Gladys. She's in her room, and she looks bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, do you need to go to the hospital? Do you need a doctor? It's like, oh no, a doctor can't help me, but maybe you can help me. I thought being here would do me well, but like maybe you can help me.
I thought being here would help me get better, but it's not working. Maybe if you if you can help me
get an object from each of your classmates, that could help me.
Maybe that could help me.
And he's like, why would that help you? And so, obviously, he he's gonna have no choice but to agree because he's seen what she's capable
Something that
of,
belongs
right?
to each of your classmates.
And so we see him the next day, right? And he's looking around. He's
looking
seeing
around,
different things on the
each
zippers
of
on
the
their
kids have stuff.
backpacks.
Yeah, one they have little keychains on their backpacks, or one kid's got one of those little pencil toppers, right? And
it's like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna get all this.
Like,
so
then he looks over, and everybody has these little cubbies. No, everybody has all these little cubbies on
with their names
on
on
the shelves, and they all have the it's paper name tag on them. And then it cuts to recess.
He waits to the right time. It's recess. They're in a gym, right? And he sneaks out, and he gathers all of them. And as he puts them in his
recess,
backpack,
it's gym class, but yeah. But
it could be recess. Miss Gandy's there, so
could be.
It could just be like maybe it's not the right weather or something.
Maybe.
So,
but yeah, he's just standing off to the side, and then he leaves the room.
He puts them in his backpack.
So yeah, he pulls all these name tags off the baskets, and as he's putting them in his backpack, Justine walks in.
Yep. He's like, "Hey, Alex, how's it going?" It's like, "Oh, I just need to get something from here." It's like,
I just forgot something.
Like, you've been quiet lately. Is everything okay at home?
It's like, yeah, everything's fine.
Like,
I just forgot something. Like,
I just want to go back now. It's like, oh, okay. Right? And she doesn't notice that the names are off the things. Because like at this point, like, why would she really know this at this point? Right? And so he goes home. He slips
all the papers under
the door.
Under Gladys's door.
Yep.
And
she tears them up. She does her ritual with them.
Well, she's not tearing them up yet. So later that night, he's in bed.
That's right.
And
we see her do it.
He wakes up at 2:15. And he, hears something downstairs. So he goes down there and he sees her sitting at the dining room table. And she's got some candles and she's got her bowl of water. And she's got all of these name tags. And she's tearing them up, dropping them in the water. And then at 2:17, because it shows the clock, and it's 2:17.
Shows the clock. Yep.
And she rings that bell. And then
Alex is up, and he has no idea what to expect. He has no idea what to
expect. But he looks outside, and all these kids are running toward the house.
Yep. And
all in that delta formation, right? In that triangle formation. They all run in, and they... do they go straight down to the basement, or are they just standing in the living room first?
They just go to the house. They don't really show them go to the basement.
They just go into the house.
Yeah. All right. And that's where they went. So, we get that full view there. All right. So we cut from that now. We then cut back to the present, right? We don't get much on the intermediate of what's been happening since then. Yeah. With Alex.
Well, right? We do get
been going back and forth.
We do get a little bit. We do get a little bit. We get a little montage of him, talking. He
feeds Matthew.
Yeah, he feeds. So he's supposed to feed all the kids soup now. And
now, I'm guessing all the kids and his parents must be having this elvish underwear.
They must be.
Because they are being fed.
Yeah, they must be. Unless they all have catheters and colostomy bags. But I didn't see them, put any of those.
I don't think Gladys was taking the time to think of that little.
But I mean, she is old and frail. Maybe she has those things. So
anyway,
maybe
we get back to the present.
Hand. But yeah, so we get a little montage of him, talking to the cops and talking to people after the kids disappeared.
It's like, oh yeah, the cop comes like, oh yeah, well Alex is kind of quiet today, and then he goes like, oh yeah, he is. She looks at him and she stares at him,
and then we get a shot of his Gladys is putting makeup on his dad to cover up those holes in his cheeks.
Oh yes. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna have visitors. So like, yeah, they take off the newspapers, make it look like the house is being lived in.
Yeah. And so she gets all the kids to go outside.
Yes.
Because the cops are coming over. And so they're searching the house. So Gladys gets all the kids to go and hide outside in the shed or out behind the shed. And so they cops come in and they look around and they don't find anything.
Nothing seems amiss.
Yeah. The parents are sitting there all polite and
again, it's only so much
very
they can do
lethargic
anyway, because Alex isn't a suspect or anything like that. They're just looking for information, but you don't want anything to look suspicious either. Yeah. So so you get that kind of montage of what's happening during the month. And then we get back to the present. And we have Justine and Archer. They're just in Archer's truck staring there, right? And they see the cop car out there also.
They see Paul's cop car outside the house. And like, why are the police here? Or like, they're like, police. Like, he's like, but the police are here. Maybe we should go.
Like, it's like, no, like, this doesn't seem right. It's like, no, I think it's Paul's car, right? And so they decide that, and then they're there, and then they don't say it's not, no, it's the front door opens and Paul steps out.
Mm-hmm.
And just says, that's Paul.
Like, that's Paul.
I know him. And he points at them. And like, okay, I guess we need to come in. Right?
Yeah, so then Paul turns around and walks back inside.
And we've seen from Alex the inside of his bedroom, like he has seen the cop car out there. He sees the truck out there. He sees him get out of the truck and walk towards the house. Right? So they get in and he sees they see Jesse and Paul just kind of standing.
James and Paul. Now, before they come in, then so Gladys is in her room.
There's an important interaction with Gladys.
Gladys is in her room,
yes,
and Alex's parents are standing right outside her bedroom door. And there's a line of salt.
And there's a line of salt
going across the hall.
Gladys just tells him, like, we have to go tomorrow. Pack your bags. We're not coming back. And don't cross
Whatever
the salt.
you do not cross the salt. And so Alex is like, okay. And so as Archer and Justine walk into the house, we see that there are a couple more salt lines, in the different rooms. And Paul and James are just standing there, just in the house. One's in the living room, one's in like the dining room area. And they're just standing there.
And they're standing there. They're not doing anything. And it's dark. And Justine barely steps over one of the salt lines.
Yeah, she doesn't see the salt on the floor, and she just steps right over it. And she steps kind of on the salt line, so her toes are over it.
And James immediately snaps out of it and just starts.
Well, Paul immediately snaps out of it, and he starts attacking her. So she runs into the kitchen. And Paul chases
James
her.
ends up attacking Archer.
Yeah, so then Archer steps over the salt, and James attacks Archer. But this is kind of funny. Because, Josh Brolin is so much bigger than the guy that plays James.
Yes.
Than Austin Abrams. And so James comes running at him, and every time he runs at Archer just picks him up and throws him. He just tosses him across the room.
It's like a rag doll. He's like, but again, like he gets up like it's nothing.
He still just gets right up and runs right back at him. So Archer tosses him again.
Archer's like, it's like again.
So Archer's just throwing James around like a rag doll. Meanwhile,
this kind of continues as there's a tussle in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm. And Justine, right? So Paul has Justine by the throat. And he's trying to choke her, and sort of throwing her around a little bit. She's trying to fight him off.
And she sees like a vegetable peeler.
Yes, she sees a vegetable peeler, and so she grabs it and she reaches up and she starts slicing the layers of skin off his cheek.
And like, he's not fazed by it. He's still attacking her.
He's still attacking her.
And
again, meanwhile, it cuts. So it also sort of cuts up to Alex, because Alex hears everything that's going on downstairs.
He hears it, but he sees his parents.
They're just
slowly
staring
goes down the hallway.
He slowly goes down the hallway, and he just very slowly puts his foot over that line, and just like tink, just taps his toes on the floor on the other side of the salt line, And both his parents go crazy, and they chase him. So he runs back to his room, and he slams the door behind him, and they start coming, and here comes another Shining reference.
So we have the three different kind of tussles going on in the house.
But yeah, so here's another Shining reference, right? His parents, they're hacking away at the door, and they knock one of the sections out of the door and stick their face through it.
Yes.
Just like Jack Nicholson did.
And he's able to kind of connect through because, because
there's the bathroom that connects a couple of the rooms.
Bathrooms, yeah.
They got one of those bathrooms with 2 doors, and they connects to 2 different bedrooms. So he's sort of running through.
They keep trying to run after him, and he's working his way to different rooms, right? So Archer, he's still fighting with James. Eventually, he throws James through the basement, right? And
no, he doesn't. No, he sort of throws him. He throws him somewhere where it's a little bit harder for him to get up.
That's right.
Yeah, so he's still kind of tussling with James, and Paul is now, he's strangling Justine. And she, the vegetable peeler is not working to stop him. Now his cheek's all screwed up. And so she
not going to matter much longer.
Yeah, she reaches down and gets the gun out of his holster and shoots him in the throat. So there's blood that just spurts out of his throat, but it doesn't faze him.
Yep.
So then she bolts the gun up against the side of his head and pulls the trigger, and he drops dead.
And then he's just there, and he's just lying in a pool of blood. And she's
now
shocked by it, but she's also she's relieved that she's alive, but then she can't believe that this guy she cares about and that has cared about her, that this just happened.
So now
she had to kill him.
Yeah. So now James has gotten the upper hand on Archer, and he knocks Archer through the basement door.
That's
so
right.
there's
he comes down. He falls down the steps.
No, they're at the top of the steps, and Archer kind of looks. He's kind of looking upside down, and he sees down the steps. He sees these kids.
That's right.
Down there, and James has his hands around Archer's throat, and he's choking him, and then you just see Archer get shot in the back of the head, and Justine still has Paul's gun.
Not Archer.
Not Archer. James. Sorry.
James. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, James, not Archer. James gets shot in the back of the head and falls off of Archer.
And so she kind of stays upstairs, and he stays down there. He's looking around to try to find his son Matthew.
Yeah. So they go.
Right?
Yeah.
And now he's
looking around
on the top level. You still have Alex's parents going after him, right? And he's made his way. He's starting to make his way towards his aunt's room.
Yeah.
While this is happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
Archer's in the basement.
Archer's in the basement, and so he's trying to find his kid, trying to find Matthew, and he turns and here's another jump scare. And this is the one that kind of got me to flinch slightly. Because, it's going to these different kids, and then all of a sudden it just turns real quick, and it's Gladys.
And the thing's
but she's not all done up like before.
Yeah,
she's going to be there at some point. But she's done up differently. She's not.
She's done up very differently.
Doesn't have the wig, doesn't have all the makeup. She's just kind of sitting there scowling at him.
Right? And she attacks him. Right? And so then we're back with Justine in the kitchen. Right? And she's still kind of grappling with what just happened with Paul.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when Archer comes up.
Yeah, and
Gladys, he starts to attack her.
Gladys has gotten Archer under her spell. She had the stick, and she, was able to, I guess, get some of his hair or something that he owned or something, and just snaps the stick and
choking her.
He's coming after Justine.
But meanwhile, upstairs, Alex, he knows the ritual that she uses
because he watched her do it with his parents.
So he gets up there, right? And then he does the thing.
As he's running into her room, he grabs a stick off of the tree, or he grabs the tree and takes it into to her room, and he
gets a hair from the wig.
Yeah, he gets the wig, flips it upside down, and sees some of her hair in there. So he grabs that, wraps it around with the sticks, pricks his finger with it, rubs the blood all over the hair, and then he breaks the stick. And the stick that he grabbed was the one that she was using for the kids.
Yes.
To control them. So snaps the stick, and all of a sudden all the kids become active.
Yeah. And she realizes this right away. And she's like, and she's talking to Archer right now. Like, that's it. That's,
Hmm.
finish her off, right? And she's doing it very, deviously and
Yeah.
slowly.
So she's
And then she
upstairs
knows
now with
in the
Archer and
kitchen, yeah.
Justine, just watching Archer
But then she realizes
trying
what's
to kill
happened.
Justine.
She's like, oh no.
And all these
And you
kids
just
come
hear like
running
this
upstairs.
stampede and they go running up. And she just books it
She
out of there.
books it out of there. She like jumps through the window
And so
and
there's
she's
this
running.
full-on chase of these
She's
17 kids.
running through
She's going
houses.
all through these different houses.
Meanwhile, all the kids are just running. They're not even trying the doors. They're just running through the windows, through the walls,
they're breaking through
whatever.
things.
They're just
There's a
breaking
house.
through.
There's a father in the kitchen with the son eating breakfast, and then they go to the living room, and there's the mother and daughter there, and
Yeah, they're just running all through the neighborhood, just through houses,
and finally they're able to kind of cut her off,
and they
and
tackle
she
her,
falls.
and they all crowd around her, and yeah, I guess she trips, and then they crowd around her, and they just start tearing her apart.
They tear her
Like,
limbs off,
literally
and they
tearing
start
her
ripping
apart.
into her, and they rip her face off.
They grab her, like
They
they grab her mouth and like rip the top of her head off, and
they just start getting spurted with
yeah,
blood.
there's just blood spraying all over these kids.
They're eating her intestines. Right. And meanwhile, in the back, like his parents are still going after her,
Mhm.
and then Archer's still trying to choke Justine. And once the life force is finally flowing out of her,
Yeah. Once
They
she's
snap out of
dead,
it.
then everybody snaps out of it. They're all more or less catatonic.
and except for Archer, because
Yeah,
Archer's
Archer,
only been
yeah,
maybe
he's only been a
10
couple
minutes
of
at the
minutes.
most. 5 minutes,
Yeah,
probably.
so he's back
right?
to normal. And
he looks around.
He stops. He gets his hands off of Justine, and
And he goes back to try to find Matthew. So he follows this trail of destruction
Yeah.
that he just left.
so he's running through the same houses
I
they
like
were.
how he goes to the one house. And it's like, there's a man in the house now. There's also a guy that's with a lawnmower. I was half expecting.
I was expecting something to go on with that lawnmower. I saw the guy with mowing his lawn. I'm like, they are gonna kill somebody with a lawnmower.
Nope, he was just cutting the grass.
Yep.
And then Justine goes upstairs to see how Alex is doing. And back in the scene where his parents have kind of
Yeah.
busted through the door,
And so now
he's on the other side.
he's between them, and they're hugging him.
Yep. And they're still like catatonic.
Mm-hmm.
Justine sees us. She's kind of happy and sad about it, and she leaves him alone. Right? Archer finds his son Matthew. And again, he's still catatonic.
Yeah, but
he's got Amy Madigan's blood all over
Yeah.
him.
And so he picks him up, and he's reassuring him. He's like, "You're safe now," all this. But his son is not
Starts
responding.
walking away with
he's
him.
just catatonic. He's walking away with him. And here's where the original draft of the movie ends,
Yes.
with him walking away with his catatonic son. It did not test well with test audiences. They thought it needed a little bit more closure.
So now the voiceover comes over again. And we find out that, Alex's parents are still not talking.
Yeah.
Right? But he went to live with another aunt, a nice aunt
Mm-hmm. A nice aunt who takes care of him.
that doesn't have people headbutt people to death or,
Yeah.
threaten to have their parents eat each other.
Yeah.
Right?
And some of the kids have finally started talking.
Yep.
So there's some hope that, over time, maybe they'll return to normal.
Yeah. We don't know. And it makes sense that they might not talk for a while or figure out how to do it,
Yeah.
and it's a movie about, and that's, where it ends, and it cuts to
from
an
there.
MGMT song, and you have the credits. And again, you have the triangle like you were talking about.
Yeah, and so the
go
credits are interesting. Yeah, so it's a big triangle, big green triangle, and then the credits are going up on the ends, on the up the sides of the triangle. So they're coming up at an angle.
Kind of a cool effect. And that's the end of the movie. And there's been a lot talked about aspects of it, particularly the Gladys character, right? And the themes, right? It's a movie about trauma, not really alcoholism.
Yeah.
You know, you would say, okay, sort of like, school shootings and like how we deal with trauma and the effects of this to, the ability to talk about things or, any type of trauma and what happens after that. Um, but of course, the big focus is on the Gladys character. Who is she, right? Because there's
Yeah.
things that get said that kind of contradict things. And so people wonder, like, is Gladys like an
Yeah.
alien or some
Is she
other creature?
really
Or is
related
she
to
really
Alex,
just a
or is
witch
she
that
just,
is
yeah.
using this power to stay alive? Right? I kind of like the theory more that she is, some type of entity that took over Gladys's body at some point.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. So these are like all these unanswered questions are part of why I don't like this movie.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, it relies a little too much on jump scares for my liking. I mean, though, yes, some of the jump scares are, they are well done. It's a lot of very similar jump scares, a lot of the exact same jump scares, just slightly different situations. But yeah, I mean, there's no much like, so it's implied that she's consuming the life force of these people that she takes control of, but it's never actually stated that that's what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's implied where, like, I thought doing this with your parents would get me better and all that. Like, she's draining their life force, which could also be why Archer was able to snap out of it right away, and it took time for everybody else because the length of time that they were under her control, the amount of life force that was put out, maybe that's why she needed the kids, because they're younger, they have more life in them than adults do. I don't know. It's all, there's not really any mention, like direct mention, of her consuming the life force of people. The only time that there really is any sort of mention of that is that ant documentary.
Yeah, right.
When they're talking about cordyceps. And, and if that were the case, if she is draining their life force, why wasn't she getting younger? She still looked old and frail throughout the movie. Right. Except when she had the makeup on, but that was just to make herself look younger.
Why isn't it working? So
yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I just think if that was the case, if that's what she was doing, I don't know. Maybe it's just my history with movies with people draining people's life force. They always seem to look younger and stronger and all that when that happens. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's just something on me,
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I thought that the reason for the kid's disappearance was a little bit weak.
Okay.
They hyped it up to be this big mystery, the way that this movie was hyped up, the way that, the trailer showed it, like there was going to be this huge reveal on why these kids just got up and ran away. It was because an old woman rung a bell.
Yep.
But
again, yeah.
There are very strong, Hansel and Gretel vibes to this and stuff like that. Right?
That's definitely there too.
Yeah. Which, I mean, those parallels and stuff, I like that. There are aspects of this movie that I enjoyed.
Okay.
Like I said before, the performances were fantastic all around.
Yeah.
The actors really, they really performed well in this movie. We sort of touched on a little bit the whole who really is Gladys kind of thing.
Yep.
Is she really Alex's aunt or his mom's aunt? Or is he just some entity or some alien or possessed person or whatever?
Yep.
That was never really answered. I mean, it doesn't really necessarily need to be answered, but I mean, and there's also, so we missed one little thing when we were talking about, when they were talking about Marcus attacking
Right.
Justine. How Archer said that he locked onto her like a heat-seeking missile.
Yes.
Why is the movie called Weapons? That's about the only mention to these people being used as weapons.
Right.
You know, that was not the purpose of her taking over all of them.
No.
You know, there were only a few of them that her intention for them was to use them as weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess you could say that it's, you know, like the kids ultimately were used as weapons to take her out.
Right.
Or, you know, the people at the end, you know, all of these people were eventually used as weapons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I don't know. It seems kind of thin to me.
Okay.
I think other titles could have been better for this movie.
Gotcha.
You know, I don't know. It's just it also just this one's kind of hard to explain. But I mean, this isn't hard to explain. But I felt like the ending was kind of rushed.
It
was kind of convenient.
I think that's
like it was kind of convenient that, you know, the kid was able to turn all the kids against her and they just ripped her apart.
right.
You know, it felt like there should have been a little bit more there to me. You know, it just seemed kind of rushed there. But no, but I think the main reason, which is the part that's kind of hard to explain, it's just the way that the movie made me feel after it was done.
Okay.
It's one of those movies that kind of left me with that sort of just off feeling, right? Like not quite like depressed, but kind of like that there's really no closure to this movie. I mean,
Right.
yeah, the voiceover at the end helps,
Yes.
but it's kind of, it just left me feeling kind of off.
Okay. See, I think the lack of closure, I think, for me, was one of the strongest suits of it.
Okay.
But I can understand that point of view. So,
but yeah. So, I mean, you loved the movie. I didn't care for it, but I did appreciate certain aspects of it.
yeah. And that's fair. So,
I mean, I was happy to have the conversation with you about it because, you know, it's good to have differing opinions on some of these movies.
I agree.
So,
and we got to talk about Elvis Underwear again. So,
yes, we did. So,
but yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot else to add at this point. So,
me neither. So, yeah, as always, if you enjoy what you're hearing, then go ahead and check us out on our social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram and Threads. It's Rob and Tony's Cinematic Adventure. The and is spelled out, A-N-D. It's not an ampersand like the name of the podcast. We are also on X or Twitter. That is R&T Cinematic. And you can also check out our Letterboxd. So you can see some reviews we've done on various movies. Some we've done on the podcast, some we haven't done, some we will do, some we won't do. But that is Cine Adventure or Cine Adventure, C-I-N-E Adventure. You can also send us an email, Rob and Tony's Cinematic Adventure at gmail.com. Once again, the and is spelled out, A-N-D. It's not an ampersand like the name of the podcast. But yeah, so do you agree with Tony about this movie? Do you agree with me about this movie? Do you have your own opinions on this movie that you want to share?
if it's other theories we did not discuss.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, would you rather have, had the disappearance have to do with, aliens or a cult or something like that rather than just an old woman with a stick? What are your thoughts? What did you feel? What did you think about this movie? Let us know. We want to hear from you. And yeah, so go to our social media, give us a like and a follow if you like what you're hearing. Go to your favorite podcast app, wherever you're listening to us. Hit that subscribe button. Give us a good rating, a good review.
Comment
on it. Let us know what you
Share
think.
it.
That's how we move up in the standings, in the search, in the recommendations, all that stuff. But yeah, we want to be able to reach as many people as we can who, want to hear us go on and on about these movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so next time, we are going to be heading back to the 90s.
Yes, it's been a while since we've hit the 90s.
We have had some excellent 90s action movies that we've done on this podcast.
Well, yes, we have.
Many of them Nicolas Cage and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Well, Arnold was mostly 80s, but we had some 90s stuff in there too
We've had some
that
90s
we talked
stuff,
about.
yeah. Hey, we had Harrison Ford and The Fugitive also.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. But this time we're going to an action hero that we have not talked a lot about.
We haven't. We've only talked about them once.
Yes. Yes. We're going to talk about Sylvester Stallone in the movie Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. Yes. It's Christmas time. It's January. It's just after Christmas. It's January. It's a movie with snow. So why not do Cliffhanger?
Yeah. So we are going to talk about Cliffhanger next time. So if you have not seen that movie, you got time to check it out. And yeah, I'm sure you can find it somewhere streaming, or if you own it, you can watch it on that.
Yeah. Plenty of options, I'm sure. But we're going to do some Stallone action. So I've been wanting to do a Stallone movie for a while.
Yes. The last one we did was Rocky. And that was a while ago.
Yep. So this will be a fun one to bite into, I think. And it's got John Lithgow.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. So yeah, join us next time for Cliffhanger.